over the 1,200 metres. And Shrekandi, most interesting runner today, not seen since last year's Stradbroke. A 380 favourite, dollar shorter than Noidart. Ball of Muscle $5, $7.50 Temple of Boom, the defending champ, hasn't won a race since. River.
Off and racing now, Shrekandi near the inside, bounded out of the gates, and Rocket to Glory began quickly, and so did Ball of Muscle. They're the first three as they go to the first corner. They've raced away by 3 to Temple of Boom, settling down fourth outside, Dancers on Stars. Then River Lad, Noid Dart on the fence, been passed by Hidden Warrior going around them wide. Then Elmer's Fury and Speediness is 2.5 off at the rear. Rocket to Glory led at the 700 metres mark, 3 to Ball of Muscle and 2.5 Shrekandi. A length away, Hidden Warrior, followed by Temple of Boom, and then Dancers on Stars on the rail. River Lad out a little bit deep, in trail by Noid Dart, and they're followed by Elmer's Fury, and Speediness is last. They're on the swing, 500 to go. Rocket to Glory, 2 in front. Here's Ball of Muscle first, and now Shrekandi. They're cutting loose after Rocket to Glory. Noid Dart's trying to get to the outsides from Dancers on Stars, 300 to go. Rocket to Glory, Ball of Muscle, Shrekandi on the outside. Dancers on Stars going for the run near the fence. It's Ball of Muscle and Shrekandi. They've come away at the 100-metre mark with Shrekandi outside. Ball of Muscle, Shrekandi and Ball of Muscle. They're coming to the line. Shrekandi, the mare, she's back. Shrekandi beat Ball of Muscle. Tied for third, Dancers on Stars or Noid Dart. Then Hidden Warrior, Rocket to Glory, Temple of Boom, Speediness, Elmer's Fury, and last home is River Lad.
She's got class with a capital C. She's had a crack at weight for age today, and she's drawn away to beat Ball of Muscle by a length. Dancers on Stars. He's never been out of a place here at the Gold Coast. And then
a little bit flat leading into this in his race that way. He probably just lacked a touch of zip. And that of the Beaten Brigade.
The trip to Queensland for the winter. She won the Silk Stocking last year, plus a few good races in Brisbane, and then went on to run third in the Stradbroke. She's trained by Kieran Maher, who's joining.
She looked beautiful going to the gates there.
Okay, Glenn, what's the market mover here?
Make one, because this market's been, well, the only great change in 3 days has been the fact Silent Achiever replaces Arabian Gold as favourite. And, $5.50 the field here with Silent Achiever the favourite. Arabian Gold at 6, Hawkspur at 7, Labaz getting the run now at 7.50, Hook's a little bit easy at 9. Some moments is there.
And Hook from barrier 2, the first to come out of the gates. He found the lead in front of Labaz. Aoman going forward with Rudy in the early part. Escardo settling back off the fence, followed by Arabian Gold. Silent Achiever trying to get over. Green Moon circling quickly on the outside. Then Sir Moments. They're followed by Moriarty. I'm Imposing and Fortella. Precedence back second last, and Hawkspur is last. In the back towards the 1,300 metres, and Hooked is the leader, 3 parts. Labaz a length and a quarter to Rudy by 1. Labaz still has him in his sights. 2.5 to Rudy. Aoman fourth on the fence, followed by Green Moon. Arabian Gold is next. Escardo on the fence. Silent Achiever clicked up. Some moments trying to improve in the middle. Then Moriarty, Fortella, I'm Imposing, Precedence and Hawkspur. They're inside the 600 coming to the home turn. Hooked on the inside and Labaz there. 2 in front of Aoman. Rudy's under pressure. Arabian Gold taking the shortcuts, followed by Green Moon. Moriarty and Silent Achiever coming to the outside, and then Some Moments, but in the straight, and Labaz has gone to the lead with 300 metres to go. He got away from Hooked. Arabian Gold near the inside. Aoman running home, and Some Moments is now called upon. Labaz led inside the 200 metres mark. Some Moments on the outside is coming after Labaz. Labaz a length in front. Some Moments trying to pick him up. Labaz and Some Moments, they hit the line. Labaz has just beaten Some Moments in a close one. I'm Imposing third in front of either Precedence or Fortella. Then Green Moon, he ran a really big race. The next behind those came Aoman, Arabian Gold, Silent Achiever, Hooked, Escardo. A long way back in the field of Moriarty. Rudy's run second last, and Hawkspur has pulled up at the tail.
Well, Labaz puts a win on the board after running 11th in the Doncaster and then second in the JRA plate behind Gypsy Diamond. He stuck his head out and he's held on from Sir Moments for the Hawks team.
Third.
Labaz, look, he's a horse that's always promised a lot. He was first emergency for that race yesterday, but luckily for Team Hawks, he got a start. Ron Blinkers on a Zabeel horse. They say that's a great recipe for really switching them on.
Well,
You shouldn't be able to buy as a Beau without a set of blinkers coming with it.
they should come in the sale yard.
Oh, we should pay enough for. I'm sure we can throw a set of blinkers in.
Look, he's a good horse. He is a good horse, and the blinkers did switch him on. He's been a little bit off the boil, and the punters have been a bit wary of him. Cashing in on. Well, they've been doing their cash on him a few times in Sydney, but his runs haven't been too bad. He's just a tricky horse. He seems very one-paced and grinding. You don't know whether he's the horse that you let run or you've got to find him in a fast-run race. But look, he just kept going yesterday. I thought it was a pretty good win, and it sets himself up, maybe for another Doomben Cup where she was placed in last year. I thought St Moments was good.
Sometimes they'll have an effect and the effect will drop off. But if they continue to work on him, in the right races where he can do this, he's going to be always competitive. Anything that runs on from the back in these races, I think you can put a little bit of a mark next to, because it really wasn't the day or the place to be running on from the back.
Disappointing run from Silent Achiever on face value, but I spoke with Roger James this morning, and she's had a bout of colic overnight, and he's basically been up with the mare all night. He said she's come good this morning, but puts a question mark on.
Arabian Gold, was it?
And very well. Now, of the others, the 4 and what else was I considering? I think the 4 was probably the next best. Oh, Criterion, looking well. He was kicking up his heels a little bit here and there.
4 from the paddock, Helene Happy Star over Blazing Speed, Stephanos and Criterion at Win QT. Quartet would pay pretty handsome, but Helene Happy Star on screen looking the goods as we count down to this feature event on the card, the Audemars Piguet QE2 Cup. Brett, they're starting to make their way out down to the stalls now, but interesting betting race where Criterion has come up a favourite over Designs on Rome at the moment.
Yeah, the putters here in Hong Kong have got it down to those 2, Clint. And I think Criterion's probably the horse to beat on what he did in his last start in the Queen Elizabeth Stakes. Very impressive, defeating Red Cadeau. It looks on paper like he's going to get a similar run from barrier number 1. Beat it. The Audemars Piguet QE2 Cup, and they're off. And Criterion off the inside bounced away well, and straight away Williams was at him to go forward, and he's going to lead them initially out of the stretch. Military Attack also jumped well, and Samewell's coming across from his deep barrier to go up and join them. Blazing Speed into a nice position early as they work out of the stretch from on the inside Helene Superstar, and then a length away to the Japanese galloper Stephanos. 1 away then 800. California Memory back last. Same World makes the running as they approach the bend from Criterion, who starts to edge a little closer now. Military Attacks moving up 3 wide. Helene Superstar sweating on a run from Stephanos, and Blazing Speed now 3 deep. Helene Happy Star back on the rail. Red Cadeau pushed on with Designs on Rome, packing Claragib. Smoking Sun and California Memory into the straight. They come in the QE2, and Military Attack and Criterion went up and took the lead. Blazing Speed within a half a length. He's closing in, packing Claragib, and then Stephanos getting a run, and Designs on Rome down the middle, but Blazing Speed took the lead with 150 to go. He's roaring away with the QE2 Cup, and it's a big win for Blazing Speed. Neil Callan and Tony Cruz. What a battle for the Miners. Designs on Rome, packing Claragib, Stephanos and Criterion, all there for the minor end of the prize. Then Helene Superstar, followed by Helene Happy Star, California Memory, Military Attack Weekend, Smoking Sun, Red Cadeau and Same World last in. Blazing Speed. What a powerful performance from him over the final 200 metres. Have a look at the go for second. Designs on Rome, packing Claragib, Criterion, Stephanos. Take your pick.
Minutes to get your bets on. Fontaine Ruby is heading up the markets at $3.90 fixed at $4.10 on the tote. Fenway's a predictor special number 1. Second pick at $5 fixed, $5.40 on the tote. Winetails is a $7 fixed odds chance. And Delicacy number 3 is also in single figures at $8. Get Tony's thoughts on the first of 2 Group 1s today at Morfordville, the Schweppes Oaks on the back of Kalgoorlie.
Racing. Fenway began moderately, and Fontaine Ruby wasn't away flash either. Durasound from the inside actually beat her out. There's Fenway quickly mustering speed, though, and runs to the lead early. Lady Sharapova going up on her outside to be second. Kathy's Mark was going to be a fair bit closer today. Photocracy's gone up to be third in the meantime. Durasound was fourth, then Bahamas. So Fontaine Ruby ridden back off the speed here. It's on the inside there of Kathy's Mark and Not a Happy Camper. Not going that hard. This leader's getting a beautiful run. Not a Happy Camper was next from Kathy's Mark. Fontaine Ruby's in a very awkward spot for Zara back on the inside. Then Wine Tails Delicacy. Redisum was next. Behind it then was Sea Spray with Hipster Girl. On the inside, Kansas Sunflower. Schwadermeyer second last. And Ungrateful Ellen was last. Fenway's had a great run in front for Shin. Led the way from Photocracy, the only South Aussie in the race. It's second the outside. Bahamas third. Lady Sharapova was next. Kathy's Mark looking to work into the clear. Fontaine Ruby still well back with Delicacy. Wine Tails coming to the outside, running on, but Fenway led at the 300-metre mark. Fenway from Photocracy. Bahamas, then Durasound. Here's Delicacy running on. It's Fenway in front. Delicacy, the star WA filly down the outside. Then Bahamas. Delicacy moves up, takes the lead. Oh, what a good filly she is. Delicacy beats Fenway. Bahamas third. Durasound fourth. Then Ungrateful Ellen. It ran on late. Sea Spray, Wine Tails, Kathy's Mark, Fontaine Ruby was never a factor. Then Lady Sharapova, Photocracy. Behind it then was Kansas Sunflower, Hipster Girl, and the last few in Redison, Not a Happy Camper, and Schwadermeyer.
Oh, she is a star. Number 3, Delicacy. They're cheering in the West. What a win. What a win. The daughter of Al Mahar just demolishes them. She's one easing up. $6.82.60 about Delicacy. What a win. Fenway, Blake Shin could do no more. Race infinitely lightly raced, and she gets the job done here. As we're winning trainer Grant Williams, who's been able to
took the shoes off her, put her in the paddock, and Bob was probably thinking that she'd had a long enough campaign, and then she'd pulled up that good. We only give her a few days off and then brought her back into work. That was always our plan. We were going to ride her to her strength, and the strength was her sprint.
Yeah.
It was a great white ride early to get one off and have still half a dozen behind him and not be able to let her go till he actually straightened. It was really good.
Delicacy. She's won a stack of feature races over there in WA. The Oaks, the Derby, the 1,000 Guinea. She's now won 9 out of 13 overall. A very, very good filly. So Delicacy taking the Australasian Oaks yesterday. And I think they're going to back her up next week in another Group 1. They're going to target the Derby now.
She's as tough as teak. If she wins the Derby, is she the horse of the year?
Well, that'd be 4 Group 1s. You have legitimate claims.
I know the horse of the year, but that's in your.
Well, you've got the inside of mail.
I make it up myself.
Oh. Who have you got in front?
Oh, we'll get on to it.
He has a formula. It's a long story.
Don't ask. It's look, what a sensational win. You have to admire that performance. The way she knuckled down, and you look at the schedule she's had is enough in itself. And even I heard interviews with Bob Peters earlier in the week, and he wasn't really oozing confidence, saying, well, this is a bit of an afterthought, this race. But look at the way she savages the line here. Well done, Fenway. That was off a setback, 5 weeks between runs. I know she got control of the race up front and had her chance, but just to get her up to peak her again, it's a great job by the Hopes.
Winning.
It's Sangster Classic over the 1200. And 420 fixed for Miracles of Life in at 390 on the tote at the moment. Vain Queen at $5. Sabatini is the other one in single figures at $8.50. And then Magnificio is a $10 chance alongside Gregors and Politeness. Avoid Lightning 13. While Whale a $14 chance for race 8. It's second of the Group 1s at Morfordville. Where
set racing. And let's have a look. Avoid Lightning out wide, got out fast. Tycoon Tara was away quickly. Showing good speed as well in the early stages was Greg as it was going up now to be second behind Tycoon Tara. I Love It next on the inside from Magnificio. Then Miracles of Life around its outside was Sabatini. It's on the improve early. Next then Runway Star on the inside of Avoid Lightning. Fine approach in that group with Natural Disaster and Whale. Vain Queen's back fourth last. Back with it was Miss Steele, Politeness and Texton Hurley. They've got 600 metres left to travel. Tycoon Tara led the way. Gregors was second the outside. Sabatini was third. Around Magnificio and back on the fence. I Love It. Then Miracles of Life. Avoid Lightning was next. Then Runway Star, Natural Disaster, Whale. Miss Steele. Fine approach. Vain Queen still well back with politeness. Texan Hurley last. Gregor's moved up now. Gregor's moved up on the outside of Tycoon Tara. I Love It coming at the pair. Little Miracles of Life deeper out. It's on the inside, Tycoon Tara. Going with it on the outside, Gregor's Miracles of Life late. In front, Gregor's near the line. Miracles of Life dive, got up. The point-sized mare got up to score. What a cracker result. Miracles of Life has won from Gregor's. Third, not sure. I Love It's there. Miss Steel, Tycoon Tara, Avoid Lightning, Vain Queen, Never a Chance. Then Natural Disaster, Runway Star, Magnificio, Sabatini, Fine Approach for Whale and Texton Hurley. And the point-sized mare has got up here right on the line.
Yeah, what a performance. Number one, Miracles of Life. It's still a through. And Miracles of Life, Hugh Bowman gave her a lovely run in the race, Ray, and she's going to have been able to just get there.
It was great, especially for her to come back here and do what she did. You know, it's fantastic.
She had a lovely run in the race. She was right there. A really good field of mares, a hot field, but she just doesn't lie down.
No, it's true. It's a testament to herself. That's just how she is. She's been all her life. You know, as a 2-year-old, you seen what she done. Now she's doing it again at 4. So you know, it's a really special horse.
When did she?
She's already a Group 1 winner. Obviously, everyone knows what her record's like, and she's just so consistent. She's an absolute pleasure to deal with, and to come here and get a Group 1 as an older mare, I know it means a lot to the Snowden stable. It means a lot to me, and I'm sure it means a lot to our owners in America.
Let's talk about the race. You just seem to have a lovely run just in behind them.
Yeah, it was a bit muddly, the pace early stages, but when we all settled into position, I was just 3 deep with cover. I had a nice piece of cover on Sabatini, and that horse was able to get me to where I needed to go. And then when I peeled off its back, you know, I had the engine to get the job done, and, you know, full credit to her.
That's only the really, really good ones can find a line like that in a Group 1, because that was a really hot field, and she attacked the line.
Well, it's a group. You've only got to look through the history books. You know, it takes a Group 1 horse to win this race, and Gregors wasn't stopping. You know, even Craig Williams said, I thought I was going to hold you at the 50, but look, she's a class filly or class mare. I had the momentum. I was very confident approaching the 100, and she certainly didn't let me down.
Great work. Well done.
Diamond Stakes. It's against her own age and sex. This is against all comers, all aged mares here and fillies. It's a much bigger win, this. Better horses that she has beaten today. $4.40 and $1.80. Gregor's at $3, $9.50 for I Love It. So 1, 6 and 10 for
her second Group 1 win. She won a Blue Diamond Stakes as a 2-year-old when she was trained in Adelaide by Dan Clarkin. She's now trained by Peter and Paul Snowden. And Peter Snowden's with us on Racing Retro this morning.
When she first walked through you at the stable gates?
Job ahead of me. Honestly, she was small, but very strong. But I thought, well, she was such a good 2-year-old. And I had one in the Diamond, Guelph, and she won with authority. Like, she was just very dominant. And when a horse is that good at that age and so small, you think they've done their job. Very seldom, if ever, they do come back. But she's racing as good as probably as ever she has. You know?
I think better, because, you know, she's beating top quality mares here.
Yeah.
And she's small, but she's strong. But that attitude, what's that worth?
That's something probably Huey, the first time he rode her work, he said, I've never felt a horse like this. I said, Huey, come on. Like, she's 4 foot high. You know, you've ridden some great horse. He said, I'm telling you, this her attitude, the way she goes about her work, everything she does is just with passion.
That's Vain Queen.
Well, she lost the speed of the race. Simple as that. She drew a bit awkward, and they wanted to ride her a bit quiet. But for a Group 1 1,200 metre race, they did not go hard at all in this race, and the on-pace horses had an advantage. And, you know, Vain Queen and out the back here, certainly couldn't run the sectionals to finish this race off. It was just an impossibility. Look, I thought Gregor's was strong, and this little I Love It was fantastic, because she's only had 10. This is only her 10th start, and she resumed at Hobart, and then she went to Randwick, and now she's at Morpeth. It's not easy to do. So the Salinitris have done a really good job with her as well. But how can you take anything away from the winner? That's just the desire that got her home there. She wanted to win.
Big effort, isn't it? Little filly with a big heart.
It's my favourite South Australian race, I think, that race.
Me too.
Because it gathers together a worthy Group 1 field of mares every year. And because it's for mares, and because there aren't enormous opportunities for mares only around the country, there are obviously a few lovely races. And this is another one. It does gather a quality field, and I think that, you know, for her to win just franks how well she's going. It's okay to win $1 million 2-year-old race. You're racing against your own age and sex. It's a very different thing to come in and race against mares who are not only physically bigger than you, that may have more experience than you. I think it's the biggest effort of her career.
Of the beaten brigade, Vane Queen will stick around in Adelaide for the Goodwood. She'll take on the boys. Spoke with John Sadler, trainer. He's just basically from that draw. She just got into an awful spot after the start. Politeness, Robert Smurden's looking at heading to Brisbane for the Tats Tiara. He said she just at the 1,200 metres just loses a spot early on and then keeps...
Chapel of Boom is starting to run on down the outside, and so is Noidart. Our boy Malachi, the leader. Hot Schnitzel coming after him with Chapel of Boom on the outside, and shortly afterwards, Hot Schnitzel got to our boy Malachi. Hot Schnitzel takes the lead, and Hot Schnitzel draws away. Noidart will get up for second.
VTC Cup, Hot Schnitzel, Shin and Snowden again. He was off a freshen up. He hadn't raced since the 28th of March. He's always been a very good fresh horse, Hot Schnitzel. Blake, he's 6 years old. That's probably his best run for quite some time, Hot Schnitzel. What do you think brought him back to winning form there yesterday?
I don't know. It could be the Snowden's polish. First run for a bit of a different training methods might have helped, and he was a really happy horse going into yesterday, and geez, he sprinted quick once he got out.
How would you line him up with a horse like Charlie Boy and Hot Schnitzel? Say, you could ride one of them in the Stradbroke. Which one of them would it be?
Yeah, look,
one with the highest weight.
One with the highest weight, yeah. One with the highest weight. I'd leave that to the decision. So he's proven it. He could go right on with the job.
This is more of a statement than a question. Is that I know trainers, it's like, but sometimes just changing a horse's environment, new stable, new routine, new everything can just change their mind a little bit, and maybe that's what happened. Because Peter and
so have another look at the BTC Cup. Brent, what was the wash up on Strakandi? Just as we have a look at the runs, just again, well back in the field there after a very awkward start.
Yeah, well, obviously a disappointing start. And speaking with Kieran Maher this morning, she hasn't pulled up with any abnormalities. He said she basically ran her race upside down, had to do a lot of the work early, chasing the field to catch up to the back of them. So he said he's going to continue to press on at this stage, head towards the Doomben 10,000. Here is a vision of the start, which in a Group 1 weight for age race over 1,200 metres, you can't be doing this and then be really a realistic chance of being in the finish. But another horse that was quite disappointing there yesterday was El Rocker. Now, he travelled into the turn 3 wide. He'd done a bit of work from his wide barrier, but he dropped out quite noticeably, was beaten around 20 wide barrier, but he dropped out quite noticeably, was beaten around 25 lengths at the finish. And speaking with Trent Busuttin this morning, he said he knows it's basically a lame excuse, but he can't find anything wrong with the horse at this stage. He said he pulled up fine. There's no heat in his legs. He said he had it scoped last night to see if the horse had bled. Hasn't bled. So they're a little bit perplexed as to what went on. Hugh Bowman said the horse's action went quite badly coming to the turn. So he's going to press on. Hopefully something in the next couple of days may rise with El Rocker, but at this stage he's going to press on, hopefully to the Doomben 10,000.
I'm wondering if the old second-up syndrome come into play yesterday. Our boy Malachi, I think Tommy said, just didn't drag me into the race like last time, and Strakandi, like she'd had one run back after a year off. It can affect these horses, and had a very wet week in Queensland. Maybe, a little bit of a gallop short, a couple of these horses. I think we can be a little forgiving for the two favourites there. And
I definitely would be forgiving of our boy Malachi. I thought he did a bit of work early to get where he was.
I really thought he was.
Yes, he coasts at a high speed, but I just thought he just had to do a fraction more than you'd want to do to get to there.
But he had such a tough run first up. Remember, he chased that high speed.
I agree with you.
That was a really hard run.
The only thing
was certainly very unfortunate having that stone bruise there yesterday. But Tony Pike is hopeful that that stone bruise will go away in the next couple of days. They won't miss too much work with it, and he can press on towards the Doomben 10,000. But, geez, a lot of change in that market from yesterday with a couple of horses starting to lift. There's no real standout horse now. Delectation trial during the week went quite well, but he still has to...
Australian Derby amassed a full field, but all of the attention revolved around the Boom Western Australian filly Delicacy. Chasing 2 Oaks and 2 Derbies in a 6-week period would be an amazing feat, and the punters believed she was more than capable, backing her into odds-on. After travelling back in the field, she loomed in the straight and capped off an impressive campaign.
In the straight, Magical led the way. Magical from Werther. Here's Delicacy starting to cut loose on the outside. Allergia back nearer the inside, but Delicacy out wide. The filly now swept up, going with it on the inside. Allergic, then Werther, but Delicacy, she's in front. Delicacy, they might query the form somewhere in Australia, but how can you deny the filly? In 6 weeks, she's won 2 Oaks and 2 Derbies.
It's incredible. Delicacy, 14 starts overall, 10 wins, 3 placings. She'd won the Australasian Oaks 7 days before. She backed up to win the Derby. She's now $26, Richard, for the Melbourne Cup. Can she come back and win one of those big cups, the Caulfield Cup or Melbourne Cup in the spring?
Well, I wouldn't have thought so until I saw her do that to that field yesterday. But I tell you what, she's got way above average ability, and who knows if she can improve a bit more. Yes, I know it's a very different thing. The days when I think we were taking horses over there for the Derby and those races and coming over like Sub-Zero and Mummify and that, they're long gone those days, because the Melbourne Cup and the Caulfield Cup are very different races now. They're almost dominated by internationally trained horses. So they're very, very different. But look, I'd be excited about her if I owned her. And, I know Bob Peters was asked, why are you racing her now when she's possibly, better set for races in the spring? He made the very good point, didn't he, Nuff?
Yeah, I think he said, look, I've had these horses I've dropped off on and set them for a spring and they haven't come back. These fillies and mares, when they find form, you run them. And when they lose form, they lose form. So, look, she's a sensational filly. Where does she sit? She has to be 3-year-old of the year.
You've got 4 Group 1s. Like,
She
no
might
other
be
horse has
horse of
done
the
that.
year if she wins another one.
It's quite an amazing performance from this filly. And it was interesting to read. She was like a motorbike there. She set back and went right around the outside fence.
It didn't all go right for her either. I think
an awful spot.
She was in a tough spot early. She got back, and about, I think, the 1,600 metre mark, she topped a check.
Yep.
And then at about the 800 metre mark, something whipped up around her and sort of pushed her back into an odd spot. And I thought, you could get into trouble here. But you know what? She's way too good for them. She just found a way out, pushed her way out. And when Peter Hall got her out in the middle of the track, it was just all over.
What else ran well, right?
Oh, look, the Kiwi ran well, Werther, and the Godolphin horse ran well. But look, it's a one-act affair, wasn't it? She's a strong filly. She's a classy filly. And her greatest asset is a turn of speed, the acceleration, what's needed in a very good horse.
What was odds on yesterday? The rest of the field were all double figures.
Why can't she go to Queensland? There's still an Oaks and a Derby up there.
For anything up
I don't know when the late entry clause closes.
Fascinating. If she went up there and attempted to make it 3 Oaks and 3 Derbies from her last 6 starts. But, she's certainly got people talking. Delicacy. Time for a break.
At Morfordville, Nick Quinn has all the prices for the next. Let's head to Nick.
Hello, Richard. Yes, I do. And haven't the punters rallied towards Hucklebuck now at $5? That was a price I think a lot of people were hoping they'd get. And now that they have, they've stepped in. So Hucklebuck has been the best backed since markets opened, and currently $5 on the fixed odds. If you do have it in a bet, I'd bet lasting. Blackheart Bart, the Western Australian, in terrific form, looking for 4 straight wins, has been the best back since markets opened, was $10 when they did the barrier draw, subsequently backed all the way down to $5 as well. Currently sharing favouritism with Hucklebuck, but I know who the locals will be cheering if they both come down over the conclusion.
Uncle Wingnut home in the last at Canamble, $8.90 and $2.40 a return. $2.70 runner-up, $1.80 for third. Caulfield numbers on Jai McZirk. The Group 1 feature coming up at Morfordville. Good edition of the Goodwood over the 1,200 metres worth $500,000. Number 9, Blackheart Bart, trying to do a delicacy and get into the winners list at Group 1 grade from the West.
Why began well, so did Flamberge. Lord of the Sky was showing all of his customary dash as well, and pushing through nearer the inside was Thermal Current into a good spot. Gregors was up there nice and handy as well. Just in behind it was It Is Written on the inside there of Lighted Up. This favourite's well back, Blackheart Bart. It's only got a handful behind it. Settling down midfield was Hucklebuck with Daytona Grey. Then Riz is under the loop, getting up on the inside from Lucky Hustler. Then Blackheart Bart, it's fourth last on the inside up to the turn. Politeness was back there with it, as also was Smokin' Joey, and last of all was yesterday's songs. Vain Queen running about seventh. On the bend, Lord of the Sky led the way. Lord of the Sky led from Tudor second, then Thermal Current back on the inside, and stablemate Flamberge was deeper. Hucklebuck looking to work into the clear. Vain Queen was wider out. Lucky Hustler putting in a run as well. Under the loop, trying to thread a patches. It's Tudor going up now to Lord of the Sky. The inside Thermal Current from Flamberge. Vain Queen, Blackheart Bart late, but it's Flamberge going up now to Lord of the Sky. Flamberge takes the lead. It's a boil over. Flamberge for Peter Moody wins the good one. Beats Lord of the Sky under the loop third. Close up Blackheart Bart with Thermal Current. Then Lucky Hustler, yesterday's songs, Hucklebuck. Behind it, Gregors with It Is Written. Further back, Riz is. Then Light It Up, Tudor. Vain Queen well back. Smokin' Joey never came into it. Back with it, Politeness and Daytona Grey.
Oh, he's a good sprinter on his day, Flamberge. He hasn't won for quite some time, but he's been running in very good races. He ran in the Galaxy Group 1, didn't do much there at Rose Hill, but previous to that, his form had been pretty solid without winning. He's come back today and won the Goodwood, $500,000. He gets the lion's share of that for Peter Moody. So, big win there for
Flamberge chalks up its 8th win and its 27th career start and wins the Group 1.
Leads in your stable. He picks up a Group 1. Yeah, no, he's done a hell of a job. I told David Moody to get a photo on him on his first race because that might be it. About 3 years ago, he just continued. He's on, it's run 4th or 5th around this level his whole career, and he's fresh, terrific, and
top company. Pretty much has right throughout his career. Saved his best for a Group 1 there. Richard, he drew wide, but he was very fast out of the gates, and he's picked up a Group 1 there for Pete and Vlad Jurek.
It was an excellent ride by Vlad Jurek to draw a wide gate like that and end up sort of one out, one back in a perfect spot. Now, Lord of the Sky, once again, another great effort there after his second in the TJ Smith. But I don't know that it's the biggest surprise as it appeared to be, because if you look at his first up form, I think he's had 5 first up runs for 3 wins and 2 seconds. So he's never performed badly first up. But officially yesterday wasn't first up because he'd only had quite a break between runs. I think his last run was back on the 21st of March, and that was in the Galaxy, and he didn't run very well there. So he was fresh, and as Peter said, and he was batting on at the end. He only went down by a bit under a length or something like that. So he's a really good sprinter now, Lord of the Sky.
I think the story of the race was such an on-pace domination. The back markers didn't come into play at all, so they must have got that mid-race rest that really helped them. And look, obviously he was first up from the Galaxy. He performed well. He's been a toiler all the way through his career. He went past $1 million yesterday in prize money. So he's been a great horse for the connections. Good to see Lord of the Sky bring his wet track form to a dry track. I had a suspicion he may have been just a wet tracker, but he seems to be going well. He's been a bit of a money muncher in the past. Under the Louvre's flying, absolutely flying. And considering the circumstances, Blackheart Bart was very good because he was one from the back that wasn't suited by the tempo. And here we go. Here, you watch him. He's the only one from the back to run on and really finish this race off.
And it wasn't easy to get right out wide there and finish off too. They seem to be that where Flamberge is seemed to be the right place to be. And look at Blackheart Bart starting to lengthen stride right down the outside. He's the widest in shot.
Yeah. Carnage in behind there as Mark Zara tried to weave a passage on under the Louvre, the horse who flashed home to run third. And he copped a 7-meeting suspension for careless riding for tightening up a few of his horses there. Speaking to Robert Smurden this morning, unlikely that Under the Louvre would go towards the Stradbroke. He said if it was at Eagle Farm over the 1,400 metres, he'd consider it. But just being at Dooman at the 1,350, he feels the horse has probably just done enough at this point and may go to the paddock. He's probably still going to
job to do in a couple of seconds here because they're all loaded. And there's the light. Ready to run. Stand by for a start. Big field, 18 of them. They stand well and the gates open. They're off and racing. Now Winks jumped out okay. She's going to go back in the second half of the field. She's back third last when they hit the ground, the favourite. And when they settle fully into stride, Sky Limit runs to the lead. Redeem Ullman, Rising Luck, Abduction, Elusive Cat, Chaljedum. Now 2.5 to Winks. There's your favourite back second last. And Swift Lady's 2 lengths behind her. To the corner at the 900 metres mark. And it's Sky Limit and Redeem Code on the outside and Hayward are. It's a line of 3. Worthy Cause on the inside from Right or Wrong. Silver Hills is next, and they're followed then by Road and Drive and Marion. What a lovely day on the fence from Rising Luck, and they're followed then by Buck and the Blues. The next is Allman, Game of Fame, El Jedam, Abduction. A long way back then as they come to the home turn. Elusive Cat, Swift Lady. Winks is last. She'll have to come past the 17 of them. Into the straight and Sky Limit past the 400 kicked away. Worthy Cause now went into second spot about to give chase. Followed by Ride and Drive. Ullman is next and Right or Wrong is pulled to the outside. To the 200 metres mark and Worthy Cause got the Sky Limit. Ullman getting up on the fence. It's Ullman and Worthy Cause there together with 100 to go. Look at Winks. Look at Winks. She's come from last. She stormed down the outside. Oh, what a win. Winks got up and beat Ullman and Worthy Cause in an amazing performance. Right or Wrong just behind them. So too Road and Drive. Swift Lady ran home. They're followed then by Abduction, Rising Luck. The next home in the race was Marion. What a lovely day. They're followed then by El Jedam, Game of Fame. Sky Limit's finished a long way back with Elusive Catch and back there Redeem Cove, Buck and the Blues and Hayward is last of all. Oh, that's unbelievable. Worthy Cause now went into second spot about to give chase. Followed by Ride and Drive. Ullman is next and Right or Wrong is pulled to the outside. To the 200 metres mark and Worthy Cause got the Sky Limit. Ullman getting up on the fence. It's Ullman and Worthy Cause there together with 100 to go. Look at Winks. Look at Winks. She's come from last. She stormed down the outside. Oh, what a win. Winks got up and beat Ullman and Worthy Cause in an amazing performance. Right or Wrong just behind them. So too Road and Drive. Swift Lady ran home. They're followed then by Abduction, Rising Luck. The next home in the race was Marion. What a lovely day is last of all. Oh, that's unbelievable.
Let's go to the Sunshine Guineas now. This is probably one of the wins of the day there at the Sunshine Coast. Winks, ridden by Larry Cassidy and trained by Chris Waller, of course. Richard, she was a long way back. She was last there on the turn. She had 16 or 17 horses in front of there, just got to the outside and was breathtaking.
Well, I thought she'd win the race before the race, and I was just about to add to that. I was bailing out about halfway around because
don't worry, so was Ronnie at Scone. He was wanting to sell his ticket.
Beautiful face. I just thought, well, you can't win from there. I mean, surely you can't come around 17 runners and win from there. Because they hadn't gone that hard in the race that you'd think, oh, this is suicidal up front here. There's something will have to come from last. Could have here on the outside in the blue colours. She's got her head turned to the side. She wanted to hang in a little bit there, so she wasn't going completely straight. She flattens out a bit here now, and this is just, from here on in, breathtaking. Look at this. She ends up winning by about 2 lengths. It pricks her ears on the line.
You're right, because the horses in the finish there were horses on the speeds, and she was the only back marker. She couldn't get a card into the race from any of those back markers. I'm worried about it. Why? If she was mine, I know she's 6 to 4 or $2.50 for the Oaks now.
The Oaks is shorter than the 2200. 2200.
Yeah, that was a mile. And she was found out in our Oaks.
Yep.
I would run her in the Guineas. Oh, she's that brilliant. I would run her in the Guineas.
It's a good point. There's your Oaks market.
Yeah, look, that's wrong.
There's no 250 for you, Ronnie. It's 225.
225. There you go.
Well, Stablemate's not a bad filly either. Ballet Sweet. She was winning last week.
No, she's a good filly.
One thing I'll say about Doomben, though, it seems that it's only a 350 metre straight.
She's back to Doomben as well.
Yeah. It's only a 350 metre straight, and that was officially a 400 metre straight at Sunshine Coast. Sunshine Coast plays longer than 400 because it's got a very sweeping turn. To a degree, Doomben plays a bit longer than its 350 metres too, because they seem to be able to get going before they straighten. So I don't know. I take your point.
It's very important that she draws a barrier if you want to take that sort of price. Otherwise, she'll be
on the day.
Important that she draws a barrier if you want to take that sort of price. Otherwise, she'll be
on the day, surely. Like, she can't get any shorter.
It won't be any shorter than that.
Stakes, a time-honoured race. these horses heading towards the Derby, which is 2 weeks away.
Now Sadler's Lake goes in, set to go. Stand by for a start. Ready to run. Be interesting to see what Blake Shin does with Sadler's Lake from the extreme outside barrier. They're set and they're off and racing. He's very positive, Shin, on Sadler's Lake. It began quickly from the extreme outside stall and he's going to go over, and Jumbo Prince is going to go with him in the early part, and they're coming over quickly when there's good tempo on too. They're coming to the line the first time, and it's Jumbo Prince and Sadler's Lake leading from Redoubtable Heart. Master of Arts got into a lovely position. Gee, Sadler's Lake went a bit bush to the turn out of the straight. Upham's in about 5th position, followed by Road and Drive and Backman, and they're followed metres left to go. Gee, there's a bit of pressure here. Gee, Sadler's Lake, he's under siege a long way out here. Inauguration, Luco Blue and Jumbo Pritz. It's a line of 4 as they coming down the side of the track. Redoubtable Hearts on the fence just behind those. Road and Drive not far away. Upham in between runners, and then Reckless Abandon. Backman's back behind those. Master of Arts is trying to get up on the fence. Quick Strike will come to the outside from Chillin' with Dylan, followed by Harry Worthy Cause, Lord Disick, Sam to Hero. Sadler's Lake and Jumbo Prince led for home at the 300. Upham in the clear. Inauguration running on Redoubtable Heart. Master of Arts trying to get up on the fence from Reckless Abandon. It's Sadler's Lake in front at the 200 metres mark, but Upham has sprinted quickly on the outside, and Upham shortly afterwards raced to the lead with 100 to go. Master of Arts and Redoubtable Heart getting home well, but it's Upham. Upham has won from either Redoubtable Heart or Master of Arts, and Chillin' with Dylan's 4th. And Sadler's Lake, oh, they softened him up. Further back, Jumbo Prince, Lord Disick, Road and Drive, Backman. They're followed by Worthy Cause, Reckless Abandon, Harry. Quick Strike was never in it, followed by Sam.
On there in the run of the first turn, and then off the back straight, there were 4 in line. Bit of pressure in the Grand Prix.
Behind the clouds. He walks out so beautifully. You'd think certainly the way he runs on, the 1350 would suit him. But I must mention that filly down the bottom you mentioned there, Zara Bay, who ran behind a pretty smart one from the Cummings Yard at Canterbury on debut. She's the most relaxed.
Well, Greg, it's a really, really good betting race, this. And, well, any one of the top 3 in the market could run favourite. On course, Blueberry Hill favourite over Wicked Intent and Counter Attack. With Tab equal favourites, Blueberry Hill and Wicked Intent. Wicked Intent at
It's a 2-year-old race of the carnival. This is the size produce.
Gates open, off and racing now, and Wicked Intent on the outside. Flew out of the gates, was the early leader. In his stride began quickly. Azara Bay, Pepperano going fast on settling down, and Bring a Secret driving along the fence. Look to the Stars not far away. Star of Night settling midfield, followed by Blueberry Hill, Payroll, Major Consul. Now Counter Attack's drifting a long way back early. They're followed then by Cylinder Beach, and then comes Single Gaze. It's a long way back in company with Typing and Shadow Lorna's last. Plenty of speed on at the 800. Pepperano 1.5 to Wicked Intent, and Bring a Secret in 3rd. In his stride races 4th, a couple to Look to the Stars. Star of Night's on the fence. Then Blueberry Hill, followed by Zara Bay. Counter Attack improving. He's midfield. He's going through near the inside. Then Payroll, followed by Typing. Cylinder Beach, and then Major Consul, followed by Single Gaze and Shadow Lawn. They're on the bend in the size, and Pepperano first for home. A linked over Wicked Intent. Bring a Secret on the fence. In his stride is called upon with Look to the Stars. Blueberry Hill is coming down the outside, and Counter Attacks in traffic. Pepperano led at the 200. Bring a Secret, Wicked Intent. On the outside, Look to the Stars, and Blueberry Hill is coming down the extreme outside. Look to the Stars and Blueberry Hill have taken the lead together. Look to the Stars is going better, and Look to the Stars beat Blueberry Hill and Cylinder Beach. Counter Attack got home when it was all over. Then Typing, followed by Bring a Secret. The next time in the race, Star of Night, Pepperano, Major Consul, Wicked Intent failed to run it out. They're followed then by In His Stride, Zara Bay. Payroll's a long way.
Got the money here on Look to the Stars for Clary Connors. Now, Luke Tarrant was in the steward's room only moments ago, riding from the previous on Jumbo Prince. He's bagged a Group 2 winner here.
Yeah, amazing how this, look, this filly's been so tough. This is still more or less her only preparation that's in today, and a good job by Clary Connors to get her right. Blueberry Hill looked come with momentum and looked to win.
Or the race with a foot abscess. So that was certainly disappointing for them, but they've got it right now, and it'll be on to the Group 1 race up there. That was $13.50 for the 2-year-olds. The Group 1, the JJ Atkins, is 1,600 metres. And the way she hit the line there, looks like she'll get a mile.
Yeah, she should. It was a lovely ride by Tarrant. I don't know if he'll be able to ride her after yesterday, but anyway, she's one tough filly. I reckon that's about her 8th run in first racing preparation. She seems to have been up forever. She found the beautiful drag into the race there and got the job done in a group race. So Blueberry Hill was brave again. There's nothing wrong with her form. She's yet to finish further back than second. I'm just a little worried about these 2-year-olds up there this year. I don't think they're
not a standout lot.
No, they're not up to the standard we're used to.
Well, I think in the Queensland she comes back.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. And look, and probably the horse on everyone's lip is counter-attack. The timing's there for him and the mile looks good for him. But he's crying out for a bigger track, but it's not going to happen this year.
It's not going to.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned the Team 50. It counts to see something come out of the woodwork late and attack into this group.
Well, I think that's happened this Wednesday and next Saturday. So maybe we should be looking...
Well, I think it was yesterday.
Was it yesterday?
And a horse that comes out of that could be some second.
I like him.
He's a $15.
One feature at Doomben, the Doomben 10,000. And that is racebook order with the market about 20 minutes or so away from action. Shrekandi at 6.50 on the fix. He's out at 7.30 as far as the tote market is concerned. Not far behind it, Scissor Kick and General Ife. They're both at $7. 8.50 our boy Malachi, Bring Me the Maid, was there at $9. It's $1 better than that on the tote. Tony's numbers on screen, 6, 8, 14 and...
With 2 minutes of betting time remaining. They're at the gates now. Okay, we're just having a few problems. Favourite here in front of General Ife at $7.50, $8 for our boy Malachi, 11 for Sacred Star. Scissor Kicks at $8 as well. What price Big Money? He's $17. Now, big moment for two jockeys. Not a bad start out. They all came out okay, and Shrekandi began brilliantly today. It's one of the early leaders, headed now by Time for War. Fontalina, our boy Malachi and Sacred Star are going up, and that'll leave Shrekandi beautifully placed on the rail. Scissor Kick is trying to get over from an awkward gate, followed by Big Money, and they're followed by Flamingo Star, Rock Sturdy. Templar Boom a little bit deep, going up to the first corner, followed by General Ife, and then Neo, Bring Me the Maid, and getting back on the field is Charlie Boy, followed by Boban and Noidata's last. 700 metres left to go, and Time for War the leader. A length and a half to Fontalina. Shrekandi box sitting on the fence from our boy Malachi. Scissor Kick 3 deep, Temple of Boom 4 deep as they go past the 600. They're followed then by Flamingo Star, Sacred Star, General Ife, Big Money. Then Rock Sturdy, followed by Neo, Charlie Boy, Boban, Bring Me the Maid, and Noidat. They're coming around the bend, and Time for War the leader. Here's Shrekandi. She's coming up on the outside after Time for War and past the 300 metres mark. Time for War about to be joined by Shrekandi, Flamingo Star, Rock Sturdy. Here's Charlie Boy and General Ife, and Boban is bursting through in the middle. He's a great go. Boban, General Ife, and Charlie Boy, they come to the line, and Boban will win the 10,000 from either General Ife or Charlie Boy from Noidat. Then Sacred Star, Shrekandi, Rock Sturdy, Flamingo Star, Bring Me a Maid, Big Money. Scissor Kick is back behind those. Time for War, Neo, Temple of Boom, Fontalina, and our boy Malachi has run last. And Boban has won another Group 1. Glenn Schofield and Chris Waller, first up with this horse today, wins a Group 1 10,000.
He's a big-time performer. Not only Boban, Chris Waller, to set a horse first up for this race, always resumed him at 1,200 metres. He had the foresight of giving him 2 trials, so I'm going to get you mad fresh for the 1,350, and it paid dividends. And, you know, Glenn Schofield come with a well-timed run on him, and he's had a...
That horse. Yeah, great horse. He's been very good to us. So, yeah, good to have him back on the top level.
A bit of a gamble to go into a race like this first up, or was this the sort of plan you thought would work?
I don't know. You just hope for the best, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, we thought it was the best way to attack a Group 1 race.
Yeah.
So you just work back from that.
And is he at the stage of his career now where you've really got to be targeting the right races for him?
Very much so. Look, he was a serious horse. So it's probably hard to say he's back to his best, but he's winning Group 1s.
Yeah, so what is next? I mean, could he have a crack at the Stradbroke?
Well, it's a shame the weights aren't already out, because it's going to get the top weights, and that makes it hard. He only just won by a small margin today. So I don't know. I don't think it's some fun.
Boban, he's now won over $2 million in prize money, and he's won 4 Group 1 races. Yesterday, also an Epsom, an Emirates, and a Chipping Norton Stakes. And Glenn Schofield has ridden him to victory in all 4 of those Group 1 races, and he's joining us. It was not that crash hot, to be honest. What do you think was the key to getting him back in the winner's stall?
I think obviously a winnable race, which that was yesterday. But mainly, I think the Swaller and his team we targeted where we wanted to go with him, how many runs he was going to have. Tossed up between the 10,000 being his first up run or his second up run. But Chris got the mixture right. He gave him two trials, and his last one was a testing one. It was almost like a race. Chris's horses don't normally have testing trials, and he had a testing trial. And then first up into the 10,000. So, yeah, good performance. It's how good he is. And we spoke beforehand with the connections that if he was anywhere near his best, he'd probably win with a leg in the air. I don't think he's quite back to his best, but certainly back to winning form, which will give him a platform, hopefully, to go on from there.
Your patience on not have to go round them. Was that a winning move?
Well, obviously it was, but I thought to myself I was never going to win going around those two. They were. Huey was in front of me. Blake was outside me the whole way. And when they started to go, they were flat to the boards, making up ground, and I was still sitting pretty. And when you've got a bow band underneath you that travels like that, when you let him go, he's going to finish. The only thing was he doesn't quite like to go between horses. He likes a little bit of room because then he can balance up and unleash. And I thought to myself, well, I can't win going around him because I've got to have to come back, let them go, and then chase them. So I thought I'll just wait for a run, and if it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, well, it doesn't. But he's a fiery fella. He's a lovely horse to ride because you know that when you ask him to go, he's going to give you everything. Goes quickly.
What Candy? She sort of loomed up there and looked a real winning chance.
You'd have to say she was one of the disappointments of the race. I thought on the point of the turn, she's just cruised up, and I thought this race is all over. But she did not finish the race off. Whether the fence had gone off by this race, because 1, 2, 3, and maybe even 4 come right down the outside here, and just maybe the track had turned by this stage because then the last winner sits 3 deep, no cover, and wins as well. So maybe that was a little flattering, and maybe we should give a tick to horses like Rock Sturdy on the inside.
It was a good run, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He battled away strongly on the fence.
Play back, but look, I thought. General Leafe, Godolphin's got him flying. I didn't think Charlie Boy was that good a horse, but you have to give him a big tick with his 2 runs back now.
Glenn's saying he's been gelded.
That's the key to him.
Yeah, I used to ride him as a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
Of the beaten brigade there, the 2nd, 3rd and 4th horse all progressing towards a Stradbroke, which you'd imagine. John O'Shea was obviously quite pleased with the performances of both Noidart and General Leafe. The disappointment of the run, I thought, was Scissor Kick, raced well below his best. Speaking with Paul Massara this morning,
after being caught 3 wide without cover throughout the race.
Mr. Char-Char's on the fence, followed by De Heros and Sarajevo. The next Rekindle Power. They're followed by Miss Covergirl trying to pick up ground. Silent Whisper on the fence, and then Staviva as they come around the bend. 3:50 to go. Traviston, Girl and Lucky Tom led. Najum's never been on the track. She's been called upon, followed by Mr. Char-Char, Sarajevo. They get to the 200, and Najum went past Lucky Tom, Traviston, Girl. Miss Covergirl gets in the clear, but Najum got away at the 100. Little Miss Covergirl trying hard in second spot, but Najum, she's good, Najum. She went home won by 3.5.
She's the most improved filly I've got from training, and she was coasting along with once she got into a rhythm about the 5, and then by the 4, the 800 metres, she was really tracking. You sort of said, how far is she going to win by? And she did exactly that.
Coming up, the straight 6, a listed race there. Lamosti was the hot favourite here, $1.55 favourite.
With Labonsu leading the division out towards the middle of the track. He's in front of second is Reparations over on the outside, followed by Pago Rock, and just in behind them Lamosti, right on the back of Reparations, followed by Lucky For You, and at the end of the field is Good Value. Coming down towards the 500 metres now. Not much between these divisions, with the Circles leading Sino Eagle and Aeronautical up the middle of the course now. And the leader is Le Bon Sir, with Lamosti in the white blinkers and Reparations both making their runs together. And Pago Rock is boxing on there right across the track, nearing the 200 metres. And Dwayne is now starting to get to work on the favourite Lamosti. She's raced up. Aeronautical on the far side and Pago Rock in the middle. But it's Lamosti with a head full of running. And Lamosti comes away the favourite, one of these by a couple of lengths.
I mean, it's 2 weeks to the 1350 either way, and then 2 weeks to the Tiara. I mean, she got to run the Stradbroke, you'd roll the dice, 3-year-olds and all that. And then you've got 2 chances of the Group 1. I mean, she's won the Group 2. The only way we can further enhance her value is to get a Group 1, some Group 1 form there next to her. So, but she's going the right way.
She certainly is. Lamosti, she's now on 2 out of 2 this preparation, and she's earned that trip to Queensland with that win. Richard, hopefully she'll get a run in the Stradbroke handicap. That's I guess the only obstacle.
Yes, that will be the challenge with her, but it was a very good win. She's having a brilliant preparation. Her turn of foot is great. Najum, Lamosti. Najum's win was better yesterday than Lamosti's, but Lamosti's still right there having a great prep. Look, there was a minor test in that race.
The belief that she would be around 45th on the order of entry before her win yesterday for the Stradbroke. He had information that she'd probably lift to about 28th after her win. So they run 16 in the Stradbroke, so she still needs some attrition. But his belief was in the past sort of 5 to 10 years, if you're under 30 at this time of the year, you'd get into the Stradbroke. There is that sort of level of attrition. So it's still going to be a bit of a waiting game, but if you had to take a bet at this point, I'd be pretty sort of leaning towards the fact that she will get a run in the Stradbroke.
If I was having a bet at this,
I'm saying she'll probably get in.
2 3-year-old fillies at the top of the market there for the Stradbroke. Let's have a look at Sydney Speed.
Race number 3 at Nowra. Race number 4 at Doomben is at Group 2 grade, a field of 6. Chris Waller has 4 of them in, including Moriarty, the 380 fixed odds favourite. It's at 360.
So fixed, they're off and racing. And it was a good start out. Moriarty from the inside began okay, and Hawks Burr, he began quickly in the middle. He's going up to share the lead. A Pingle's about to run past him. Werther's out wide on the track, about to come over behind them, followed by Fortella, and I'm imposing last of all, but it's Hawksburr coming to the winning post the first time, about to be joined by a Pingle on the outside. Werther, the visitor there, will drop in for a nice trail in third, and Moriarty will get the good run in the fence behind them. They go to the 900 metres mark, and it's still Hawksburr. He's bowling along in the lead today. He's a length and a half in front of a Pingle. Moriarty still perched up there third. Now, Werther's 1B1. He's 1 away from the fence on the outside, and the next pair, Fortella, on the inside of I'm imposing. They're coming down the side, 700 metres left to go. Hawksburr, a half to a Pingle on the outside. Moriarty's on the fence. Werther's about to let go, and here goes Fortella. He's taking off on the outside, and I'm imposing will track up behind the bunch. They greet the corner, 500 metres left to go, and they're all a hope here. Hawksburr tackled by a Pingle. Werther 3 out, then Fortella, and Moriarty is going to try and get a split in the middle from I'm imposing. 300 metres to go, and Werther raced up on the outside. He went to the lead from a Pingle, but Moriarty's about to appear on the scene inside the 200. Werther still the leader. Moriarty trying hard with a Pingle Hawksburr, but it's Werther in front. He's off to the Derby next week, Werther, and it's a great trial. Werther beat Moriarty in a Pingle. Not sure about fourth. Fortella and Hawksburr together, and I'm imposing last of all. That's an impressive Derby trial.
That does add a lot of interest into the Derby next week. This 3-year-old, a Kiwi, Werther, 390 and 210. Couldn't be ridden any better by Jimmy Byrne. He got into...
Great throw. Yes, he's only a 3-year-old. He's over from New Zealand. He'd run a good second to Delicacy in the South Australian Derby at his previous start, trained by Andrew Campbell, and Andrew's done very well there because Chris Waller had 4 of the 6 runners in that race, so he managed to break the juggernaut.
He did, and it was a good win. I thought it was a terrific ride.
Jim Byrne.
Yeah, Jimmy Byrne's ride was beautiful. He read the play, judged the speed of the race, went at the right time, had confidence in his horse. And you have to say, it's a nice Derby trial. This horse handles it wet. He handles it dry. I think he's got a bit of dash about him to take up a position. He's just ticking a few little boxes, and he can stay. So a nice performance. He beat the older horses, a few old hardheads in that race. But they're hard to beat on their day. Moriarty, I thought he was there to win at the right time, but wasn't good enough. But Pingle's...
There's plenty of bluffing going on. Who's going to lead? Who's not going to lead? It's let's just see if what happens in the first 200 metres. Could be fireworks. There could be a bit of a flop, maybe a soft lead for something. So we'll just monitor, see what happens here.
All right, let's have a look at them. Joe Pride wouldn't give up his tactics on radio this morning. And, of course, he knows his main opposition. That's a good idea because he used to train it. Here's El Rocker, number
320, $4 into 380 as far as on track is concerned, where there's been very little action. $4 and solid for Curo sitting on the second line.
And a huge bet punters just coming through here. That's Ball of Muscle on screen, but that second favourite and Tony Brattle's second selection, that's a good idea. It's just attracted a bit of 50,000 at 3.9. So 3.9, 50,000 on.
And Ball of Muscle near the inside was one of the first to come out of the gate. She's going to lead. That's a good idea. Won't leads going back just behind them when they settle fully into stride. And Ball of Muscle leads El Rocker past the 1,000. Kiro on the fence. That's a good idea going up 3 deep in the run of the first corner, followed then by Office Bearer. Then comes Felino, Time to Plunder, and Dances on Stars as last. Ball of Muscle leads 7.50 to go. That's a good idea. Sliding up on the outside now. Kiro gets the gun run. He's box seating third on the inside of El Rocker. 2.5 Office Bearer, followed by Time to Plunder, Felino, and Dances on Stars. 500 to go coming to the corner. It's Ball of Muscle on the inside, and that's a good idea. They're 1.5 to Kuro, El Rocker, and Office Bearers next as they come around the corner. Ball of Muscle led 300 metres to go. That's a good idea as a length away. Kuro's about to split the pair in the middle if he's good enough, and then Office Bearer, but Ball of Muscle led past the 200 metres mark. Kuro's after him now. That's a good idea. Is still there. Ball of Muscle, Kuro, that's a good idea. Bull of Muscle's hanging on. He's just in front, and Bull of Muscle from either That's a Good Idea or Kuro. Office Bearers run fourth. The next time El Rocker, and then came Dances on Stars and Felino, and last time Time to Plunder.
Ball of Muscle gets the money. Glyn Schofield, another Brisbane Carnival winner. Joe Pride, the winning trainer. Ball of Muscle leads all the way. Well, there was a third scenario that no one thought about. Huey Bowman not coming out of the gates.
Yeah, he took his time. Then he wanted to pull the pressure on early in the race, but the other horse had too much of a rest. But he still fought hard at the finish after looking beaten.
Of exactly what happened, him getting pressure, Ball of Muscle getting pressure put on him from a long way out. But he's such a tough horse. He's such a competitor, and he dug deep all the way down the straight.
What did you think? He's out of that great producing mare, Par 4, and he's now won 8 of his 13 starts. He was off a bit of a freshen up on Saturday. His previous run was on Anzac Day. Incredibly, and this statistic, we mention it every year, it's quite extraordinary that no horse has won the QTC Cup and backed up to win the Stradbroke Handicap. You'd think with a good sprint like that, that it would have happened at some stage a week before the Stratty.
Some good horses have tried it. But a few place getters have done it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not impossible.
Yeah. In this one?
Look, I don't think they'll go there. I think they're 12. Joe thinks they're 1,200 metre horses, and Joe's always got a plan there. Look, he's a sharp sprinter. He's done a good job with him. He was 5 weeks.
Emergency. So still a bit to play out, but if I'd be pretty confident that Lamosti could sneak into the field here at horse number 16.
Interesting market on that, because you've got a couple of fillies at the top there. It's a tough ask for fillies to beat those tough old sprinters.
Oaks approaching. Let's get them.
Group 1 action here at Doom, and this is the Treasury Casino and Hotels Queensland Oaks to be run for the first time ever away from Eagle Farm. Our mounting yard brought to you by Harvey Norman. What a race.
What a race it's going to be. A little bit of depth there, and all day, for a couple of days now, I've been trying to think of a way to tip against this favourite. She's taken about 3 steps in the yard, and I'm telling you, I won't be getting away from her.
All right, well, we'll get to her in a moment. Let's start with, in fact, we're going to start with Winks. She's the first one we look at.
Well, it was just such an exciting performance, treating her rivals with contempt there on the Sunshine Coast Guineas.
And they're racing now, and Winks began pretty well, and Ballet Suite from the outside was actually the first to come out of the gates. Colin Lil's going to rush up towards the lead. Imperial Ass from the inside began well, and No Tricks is going to muster some speed. When they come down the straight the first time, Imperial Lass and No Tricks and Colin Lil. What a lovely day. Platinum Witnesses next out deep, and Ballet Suite's going to be in no man's land at the line the first time, trying to sneak over. Then Heavens Above, followed by Exquisite Jewel. Sabrina back on the fence, so they're followed by Rustic Melody as they go to the turn out of the straight. Winks got a bit of a buffeting there, but she's one away from the fence. Ungrateful Exquisite Jewel. Zazali now. Winks has got back to fourth last here. Swift Ladies on her outside, followed by Anaphora, and New Long Baby is last. To the 900 metres mark they run, and Colin Lil the leader, a length over Ballet Suite. Imperial Ass on the fence, followed by Platinum Witness. Sabrina is picking up ground over near the inside, followed by What a Lovely Day. Heavens Above out deep on the track, and then Rustic Melody, Ungrateful Alan, followed by No Tricks, Exquisite Jewel. Winks is on her way forward now. They're followed by Zazali. Further back, Swift Lady, Anaphora, and New Long Baby is last. They come to to the home turn. Colin Lill, the leader. Imperial Lass is issuing the challenge on the outside as they come around the bend. They're 3 in front of Ballet Suite. Sabrina, Rustic Melody, Heavens Above, and Winks has pulled to the outside. 300 metres to go. Imperial Lass has gone to the lead from Colin Lill. Here's Winks. She's winding up, and have a look at her go. Inside the 200 metres mark, and Winks has raced to the lead from Imperial Lass Ungrateful Allen, and this is a monstrous win on the Oaks. Winks ease down, 3 lengths Ungrateful Allen. Imperial Lass third from Zazali, Rustic Melody, No Tricks. Followed by Ballet Suite, Yulong Baby, What a Lovely Day, Sabrina, Colin Lill, a long way back, Exquisite Jewel, Platinum Witness, and they're followed a long way back in the field by Anaphora, Heavens Above, and Swift Lady, and that is a win and a half.
What an exciting victory by Winks, the odds-on favourite in the Oaks. Surely she's got the biggest finish in racing anywhere.
What a domination. That's how the betting said what would happen, and it did happen. She trucked into the race beautifully, and what a turn of speed she has, and just put paid to him. Grateful Ellen was brave again, just lacked the quality and acceleration of the winner. Beautiful ride by Williams there. He made up for a few ordinary ones. And look, Imperial Lass, the barrier helped her run a good race as well, but all eyes for the winner here. She was just far too good for them.
Today?
I did, Bernie. It's been a little frustrating the last couple of weeks. I've filled the placings a lot without saluting, but I did come here with a lot of confidence. I had a bit to do with the last prep and got off first sealed rider in the flight stake. So that shows you what sort of company she was racing against in the springtime. You know, you can make a case to say she was a bit unlucky in the AJC Oaks or ATC Oaks this year, but done a marvellous with her, and she certainly, you know, she deserves to win this. She's done it with authority.
Yeah. To go inside the 200 metres mark, and Winks has raced to the lead from Imperial Lass Ungrateful Allen, and this is a monstrous win on the Oaks. Winks ease down, 3 lengths Ungrateful Allen. Imperial Lass third. It's always a bit of pressure when you've got a favourite for a big race, and the way she won last start, everything looked right for today, but it's easier said than done. Someone just asked me, what did I expect her to win like that? Well, I didn't even expect it to win. You don't think like that. You just go into the race hoping that they can run up to their best.
Bit of racing this year too. She raced during the Sydney Autumn Carnival, ran second in the ATC Oaks to Gustav Win. So it was another Group 1 to Chris Waller. It was also another Group 1 to Hugh Bowman. Doomben's been a happy.
It was nice. You know, I jumped well. I jumped close to the front and gave her a head and let her into stride, and you know, the pace was on, so it allowed me just to manoeuvre in sort of midfield, and as they went on, I ended up a bit further back, but I was always very comfortable with where I was and how she was travelling.
How good is she? What do you think would be a nice target for her in the spring? Is she a Maya Classic, or is she a Caulfield Cup? Or
I think she's more of a miler. You know, she was strong yesterday over 2,000. I think 2,000 is within her grasp at the top level, but I don't think she's a 1.5 mile horse. I think she's too brilliant. Yeah. And, you know, I remember the first time I rode her in the spring, it was 1,200 metres. It was rain-affected ground, but she was dynamic. And 1.5 mile horses don't sprint like that.
No.
She does one thing that great milers and great horses who race from the back of the field have to be able to do, and that's make ground around the corner. She has that ability to be cornering and accelerating.
Yeah, she does, but she's got that, if you look there on the replay, she's got that tendency to lay in as she hits top gear. So that probably assists her in increasing her tempo as she gets around the corner, going the Sydney way. But look, the bottom line is yesterday she had a lap of class on that field. But, you know, I think personally, I understand she's going to be aimed at the Maya Classic in the springtime, but I think you'll see the best of her next autumn.
Just before Brent jumps in there.
She was so outstanding weeks. I think we might have probably overlooked a few other horses in the race, but here we go. The place getters were Ungrateful Ellen, and Imperial Lass got into the money at a big price too.
Yeah, well, Imperial Lass, she was, you know, helped with an aggressive ride from an inside draw where she got a beautiful run, and she's, you know, got a dividend there for doing that. But beside the winner, who was fairly obviously dominant, I thought Ungrateful Ellen was great. You know, she can pick up a race or two in the spring, you know, off the top Group 1s, of course. She's a strong, staying sort of a filly, and And look, I thought it was a terrific ride by Williams on her, who's probably given her a sore back twice.
I think Ron's exactly right. I think if you've got to accept that those fillies that Winks beat are not in her class. She's only going to be at the upper level herself. Where does it put all the rest of them? Back down in those minor mares races, but placed right, there'll be plenty of money in quite a few.
Refer number 11.
Red on well, it's going at big odds, but no easier here.
And what about Dan Soleil, number 12?
It's for that, and look, you can't go past this mare. She is a Group 1 mare, Catkin. She hasn't won one yet, but against this field, she looks really, really fit here for this assignment. She's won 6 of 8 first up. Impossible to go past her, I thought. Jazz Song looked good, as Duff said.
Mistakes.
Can't go past her at all. I'm 1, 4, 5 and 9. She just looks in immaculate order. She's a real...
Catkins well behaved. See a grey head. Off and racing now. Catkins flew out of the gates. Oh, Dan Soleil stood there, missed it about 6. But Catkins was the first to go. Jazz Song began quickly and Perron began well to put itself in the race today. Bring Me the Maid driving along the fence, followed then by Bound for Earth and Rose of Choice. Talashan getting back on the fence as they go down the back, and they're followed then by Hazard. Along wall inside the 600 metres mark, it's Catkins and Jazz Song. Rose of Choice having a tough run. Bring Me the Maid on the fence, and they're followed by Perron and Hazard. Talashan is next from Bound for Earth and Politeness as they come around the turn. Catkins leads into the straight, coming to the 300. Only a half the Jazz Song. Bring Me the Maid going for the run on the fence from Rose of Choice, and Hazard running home down the outside. Catkins has got a fight on its hands because Hazard's raced up on the outside. Jazz Song in the middle, but Hazard has gone to the lead from Catkins. It's Hazard in front, starts to draw away, and Hazard wins the Dane Ripper from Catkins and Bound for Earth. They're followed then by Rose of Choice, Refer, Jazz Song, Bring Me the Maid, Dan Soleil. Back behind those, Politeness, and they're followed by Perron a long way back, and last home is Talashan.
Well, she's won 4 of her 5 runs as preparation. That'll make the brothers Anthony and Lee very happy. And, of course, Godolphin as well, who she'll become a very valuable mare to them as well, already is. But
the first Queensland runner for the Lee and Anthony Friedman combination. She was coming off those wins, as Henry said, there at Caulfield and also Morfettville. So she's in terrific form, Richard.
She's having a terrific preparation. She's, I think she's won 4 of her 5 starts now in this prep. She's just a good, solid mare who's taken a little bit of time to hit a peak. Henry has been a supporter of the Freeline Rose of Choice and was able to just peel out. And any time you can beat Catkins, it's a very, very good win.
I wouldn't completely... I know she was disappointing on paper, Catkins, but she was first up for a while. Her grand final's in 2 weeks, so don't give up on her. Disappointing if you backed her. It was a good run in this race. This filly down the bottom, Dan Soleil, she missed the start about 8 lengths. That's her the widest runner. She's only just out of maiden class. Keep an eye on her when she's placed to advantage.
That'd be a good race, that race on the Gold Coast in 2 weeks, Brent. That especially.
Tough race, $6 the field. The Sky Racing, Queensland Guineas.
Yeah. Yes, and there's not a long run to that first turn from the mile, so positions is going to be so important.
Yeah, tricky race. Luck's going to play a big part here, and the market suggests that. But, yeah, look, it'll be a good betting race, though. Lots of different angles.
Jabali, number 4, still a maiden.
Yeah, but he's looking for this distance, and he could run a race at odds here. I'm not ruling him out.
Merion, number 5.
And they're off and racing now. The Heros to the inside was one of the first to go. Now, Good Project was snagged straight at the start. He went straight over to last on the rails. And Traviston Girl's going to go quickly from out wide around the first corner. When they settle down to Heros, Traviston Girl 3 deep. Marion's in the centre. They're hiking along in front of Lucky Tom. What a lovely day. 2.5, Jabali, Miss Cover Girl will get on the 100 metres mark. The pace a cracker. Traviston Girl, a half to Lucky Tom. They've raced away by about 3 lengths over Marion on the outside of Deheros. 2.5 to What a Lovely Day, followed by Jabali, Miss Cover Girl, Sure and Fast. Backman next on the rails, followed by Time for War. Then Mert the Flirt, Hijack Hussey, Good Project trying to pick up ground on the fence. Awesome Rock will have to come deep from Amy, and Tree of Jess's last. On the corner they come at the 400. Lucky Tom outside, Traviston Girl. The Heros on the fence, followed by Miriam. What a Lovely Day. Miss Cover Girl's in the clear at the right time. Sure and Fast is going to come down the outside, and Good Project looking for a run. Miss Cover Girl went up at the 300 metres mark to join Miriam in the lead. Sure and Fast, Jabali, Awesome Rock, Miriam the leader, but Jabali on the outside, sweeping home, and Jabali has raced to the lead, and Jabali Jabali will race away and win the guineas from Backman, which flew home. Marion and Awesome Rock on the photo for third from Good Project. Then came Miss Cover Girl, Hijack, Hussey, Sure and Fast. Further back, Tree of Jess, Traviston Girl, Mert the Flirt. Back behind those, Amy, followed by Lucky Tom. What a lovely day. Time for War, Hijack, Hussey and Deheros.
Well, he's had quite a long preparation, Jabali, but he's hit his peak today for Mick Price and Jim Byrne. He jumped from a beautiful gate there and got a good run, and Jimmy gave him a peach of a ride, and he's taken it out. And he hasn't been able to get closer than fifth at his 2 runs in Queensland, both at Doomben, but today he puts it all together, Jabali.
There it is, the Sky Racing Queensland Guineas taken out by Jabali. His first win in a race at start number 14. He'd run second in the Blue Diamond Stakes as a 2-year-old, but it's taken him a long time to break through. Jabali, Ron, now that he's finally won a race, that might be the confidence boost that he needs to, live up to that potential.
Yeah, look, he's always threatened. I know he was maiden going into yesterday, but he's competed at the top level all the way through, and it's easy to make a case for a horse after the race, but he's been crying out to get to this distance again. So, look, good solid win. He'd obviously wintered well in Queensland and appreciated a bit of sun on his back. I think Backman should have won. He just was awkward and got over racing again with his blinkers back on, and you could make a case to say that he was unlucky. Look,
But having said that, what you said about Jabali is right, and you can't really calculate how much confidence this will give the horse. I mean, people think, well, it's just a horse.
Yeah.
Does he get confidence? But they do. They start to win and they start to like it. And this may be a turning point for him, and let's hope it is for him. I think Mick's done a very good job with him. Obviously presented him in top order there. We're talking about a $20 shot winning and a $26 shot or something should have won. So the race is we're going to be a little bit circumspect about the form in the race, I guess, but they were the 2 outstanding performances.
Yeah.
And
He'll be ridden more aggressively out the barrier to try and put himself into the race here at the mile today. He's had a perfect preparation and he looks really well.
The 2, another one for Waller, Press Statement.
Look, he's unbeaten. He's an impressive type from the Waller yard. His tactical speed. Look, it's his first run on the dry, which is interesting, but it just has the X factor, this horse. And Chris
Bassett's JJ Atkins over the mile. 2-year-olds in action. 80 seconds off a start here. And number 3 is the favourite in an open affair as far as the fix is concerned, and that's Bassett. It's at $4.80 on the tote at the moment. It's been well back late on track. $5.50 in.
Gates open, off and racing. Feast for Eyes off the inside, the first to go. Counter-attack began well when they settled down. Press Statement going up, and so was Bassett, just in behind them in the run of the first corner. Then Ashley Marie, followed by Agree 2. Look to the Stars, Pepperano. Blueberry Hill drifting back, and so is Sagaron, and they're followed by Cylinder Beach, and Typing is last of all. Past the 1200. Feast for Eyes led at the 800 metres mark. Counter-attack coming away from the rail. They're followed then by Bassett, getting that lovely run on the fence. Pepperano deep, and Press Statement 5th in the middle. They're followed then by Ashley Marie, Agree to on the fence, and then comes Sagaron. Look to the Stars, about to go up deep as they approach the turn. Blueberry Hill and Cylinder Beach, and Typing as last. That's a packing field in the JJ Atkins on the corner. Feast for Eyes first around the corner, a half counter attack. Pepperano 3 out. Look to the Stars 4 out, and Bassett is trying to go through near the inside. Feast for Eyes led at the 300. He's a length in front of counter attack. Press Statements in the clear, and Little Bassett's trying to squeeze through to the inside, but it's Press Statement rushing to the lead with 100 to go. Sagaron getting in the clear, starting to rattle, but Press Statement in front of Sagaron, close to home, and Press Statement beats Sagaron. Look to the Stars, I think, ran third in front of either Cylinder Beach or Bassett. The next time was Typing. And then Blueberry Hill together from counter-attack, Ashley Marie. Feast for Eyes finished a long way back in the field, and Pepperano has pulled up at the tail at the end.
Oh, Press Statement there. He was just too strong for him. He keeps his unbeaten record intact. He's now 3 from 3, the son of Hinchinbrook. And he beats number 11 there, which is Sagaron. Sagaron only having the 3 starts for 2 previous wins. Now has a very good Group 1 second placing to that, and it's a bit of a
third start in a race. You've got a lot of confidence about this horse.
Yeah, he's just, well, the way he won at Canterbury, you could see he was special that day. We just thought he would need the run and improve off it and make a lovely 3-year-old, but he did everything so professional from the barriers, travelled in the run, and this is at Canterbury where a lot of young horses find it difficult. So we knew from that win that he was pretty special. So we looked after him with this in mind, knowing that he couldn't take a backward step. And yeah, obviously he only won last Saturday. And to get on a truck, come up here, racing Group 1 company, pretty special horses. Only special horses can do it. And fortunately, he's one of them.
What a season. Group 1, number 14 for Chris Waller. This 2-year-old was on the backup after winning a winter 2-year-old race at Rose Hill last Saturday. And Ty Anglin was on board to steer him home in the Group 1. Thanks.
I watched his first couple of runs and he looked like he might have over-raced a touch. I know he's only very young and he's not very experienced, but yesterday he looked like he relaxed for you.
Yeah, he did. His first up run, he's still green. That's his third start. And I give him a decent enough squeeze out of the gates, and we only got cover along the back straight. And it took him probably 100 metres once I did get him behind counter attack to drop the bridle. And even when the horse come around 3 deep, he sort of half had a little bit of a look and dropped the bridle just before the corner. And I was only concerned for about 100 metres that I wish I stayed the 3 deep line, because I thought I was going to get held up in behind him. But the horse that was travelling 3 deep, I'd rode it the last 2 starts and I knew it wouldn't get the mile. I was always going to get out.
The reason I asked that is,
we had to do a bit of work.
Alan, out of the Group 1 for the 2-year-olds, what about Saga on it? He's on the backup. It didn't do too badly.
No, I thought it ran very, very well. This is a good filly in the making. Bassett, I thought he was good, Bassett. I didn't realise how small he was till I had a good look at him yesterday. And when you see him beside Press Statement, my God, there's a difference. And he copped a lot of buffeting. There he is, little Bassett. There he is with a white and blue striped cap behind the leader. And you'll see Press Statement coming out with the orange and black quarter cup. Now look at little Bassett. He's trying to get through between Feast for Eyes and counter attack. And look how small he is. And he's getting whacked all over the place. In the meantime, here's a smooth machine just going swooshka. Here's Saga on starting to get home. I thought Looking to the Stars ran home well from wide, and Cylinder Beats, the horse in the brown colours out wide, is going to be better next campaign when they get over a bit of ground. But the thing that got me with Press Statement yesterday was when Ty let him go, and when he travelled so beautifully behind with a smother, when he gets in the races where he's going to sit and sprint, it's going to take a fair horse to try and hold him out.
Yeah, look, outside the winner who picks himself, he's just a real athlete and he's got a lot of things in his favour with acceleration and gate speed, but I think Bassett's a very good horse. He walked into the yard there. It's only It's only his second start in a race. He's 1100 to a mile after 3 weeks. He gets buffeted in the straight there. He looks like a little immature foal. Wait till he has a spring and develops a little bit more. He's got the pedigree to train on. Peter Moody likes him. He's a good horse, Bassett, but you'll have to be patient. I think they'll have to be patient with him.
Definitely looked like the other one, Raposo, had won. Anyway, we've got the Derby coming up, and Werter is your 225 favourite on YouBet fixed odds. He does look like the one to beat. Let's go to Glenn Munsey.
Yes, Richard, we saw him here last Saturday winning the Eagle Farm Cup. Werther coming off that run in the South Australian Derby behind Delicacy, and he dominates the betting here for the Queensland Derby. He's 225 on course, 225 there. You bet 225 with tab.com.au as well. So all across the board there, 220, $1.90 and $2 the totes. Second pick is Upham at $8, the only other horse under double. Lakes at $10. Then we go to Magic Cool at $15. It's been 17 to 16 on track. Spur on Gold at here, around about 18 times the amount of money on Werther than any other runner today, as Magical just tightens into $15 on course here. So Werther,
near the inside, began well, and Sadler's Lake, one from the outside, began brilliantly, and he's going to go down the middle of the track. Shin's having a look over his right shoulder to see what the rest of them are doing, and when they come onto the course proper, Werther near the inside is a narrow leader from Redoubtable Heart, Thermogenic, High Midnight. Upham is going up, and they're followed by Worthy Cause and Sadler's Lakes very deep, coming to the line the first time. Quick Strikes over on the rails, followed by Harry, and then Magic Cool, Rising Luck, Jumbo Prince, all's in, and then Grackabout 7th on the inside. Then comes Redoubtable Heart, followed by Magic Cool. Quick Strike back on the fence, and then Harry, followed by Rising Luck, and then Jumbo Prince, all's in, Grabber Brandy, and Spur on Gold is last. They've gone past the halfway mark of the 1100, and Sadler's Lake swept around the outside to run to the lead from Chillin' with Dylan. Upham is now third on the fence. fence from Worthy Cause. Thermogenic's gone back the fifth, and then Magic Girl followed by High Midnight. Now Werther's got back the midfield. Rising Luck going on the outside, followed by Harry Redoutable Heart Shuffle back from All's In. And then comes Quick Strike. Jumbo Prince, Spur on Goal starting to go forward in a big hurry. And Grappa Brandy is last. 700 metres left to go in the Derby. Saddler's Lake, 3 parts, chilling with Dylan. They're followed by Rising Luck. Up them on the fence from Worthy Cause and All's In. Thermogenic, High Midnight. Further back is Magic Cool, Spur on Goal. Now where's Werther? He's back about 9th or 10th, turning for home. Burn trying to get him into clear space. Saddler's Lake led on the straight, 300 to go from Chillin' with Dylan. Up him on the fence from Thermogenic. Magic Cool and Rising Luck are coming down the outside from Jumbo Prince, but Saddler's Lake led inside the 200. Magic Cool is now starting to rattle. Werther's getting up along the fence. Jumbo Prince Lake, Magic Cool, Saddler's Lake. Werther's getting up on the fence, but Magic Cool's grabbed the lead. Magic Cool won the Derby from Werther, Jumbo Prince and Saddler's Lake. Just in behind them, Grappa Brandy, Thermogenic, Quick Strike, Chillin' with Dylan. They're followed by Worthy Cause, Redoutable, Hard High, Midnight, Spur on Gold. Further back on the field then came Upham, Rising Luck and Harry, and All's In is last of all. Magic.
Well, Magic Cool coming off the back of that win over 2,000 metres at Flemington, where he defeated Kenjawood at his last start. Now, it was a pretty good effort there, and he's carried on with a good form here over the longer trip at Doomben this afternoon. Now, Werther, he got bailed up on the fence. It wasn't where he wanted to be. He did very, very well. With a bit more luck, he might have troubled the winner there. I think he was probably a little unlucky. So give him another chance.
And Saddler's Lake.
To Mark Kavanagh. Congratulations. Another Group 1 to Magical. What a super win.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting. Look, he got a really good run today, and he's a better chaser. He's been left in front in 2 derbies, from about the 800 mark. So chasing today was certainly better.
Can you describe the emotions when he hit the line, considering the last couple of months that you've had in your life?
No.
It was tough?
Yeah.
When have you spoken to Levi? How's he been?
No. I haven't spoken to him since the raid. You can't get through.
What about Olivia?
I haven't spoken to her either. I mean, I just watched that, done a couple of interviews, and, the phone just keeps buzzing, so they'll ring sooner or later.
Have you had? I thought I saw you just have a little moment when you walked into the middle of the mounting yard here on your own, just having a few deep breaths. It's no doubt something that's really hit you emotionally.
Oh, no, that was just a bit of asthma.
Bit of hay fever?
Yeah, bit of hay fever.
Yes, Mike Kavanagh, whose stable has been under a cobalt investigation by Racing Victoria stewards, but all of that was put aside yesterday as Magic Cool took the Group 1. He was coming off a last start win there at Flemington, and it was his 14th start in a race, so he's obviously a pretty tough 3-year-old.
Nice horse, and he's just franked that delicacy form line again, hasn't he? He went to Adelaide for the Derby, he went back to Melbourne and raced well, and although he was caught wide, I thought it was a nice ride, just kept blending into the race by James Winks there. He got him nice and balanced, 3 deep with cover, let the team run around him and then got on their backs. So I thought it was a really good ride from him as well. Werther was, first thought, oh, geez, Werther was unlucky there. And then I've had another couple of looks at it. Probably got 1 pair further back than he would have liked, but I thought he weaved a passage to be in the race if he was good enough. So no real excuse there. I'll say the winner was the best. No excuses outside of him.
I was happy enough to see the winner win. He came up from Victoria. Victorians had a very good day yesterday.
And the turn, Werther had to chase from where he was. He couldn't get a length and a half or 2 lengths closer with Upham and those other horses, sort of carting him there. And then by that stage, Magic Cool had the momentum. I thought Magic Cool was great. I thought Werther was unlucky. Jumbo Prince, ridden quietly, was a different horse. And Saddler's Lake, from the alley, they tried to wait and see what would open up if they could get in. Then they couldn't. Then they had to take him to the lead. And I thought he was game. You look back at these races, particularly with Saddler's Lake, his last 2, and you think, oh, well, he didn't have a very good winter. But if he'd drawn 1 or 2 alley, he probably wins them both.
And this is the mounting yard for the Amy Stradbroke. It is brought to you by Isuzu Ute. Go your own way in the Isuzu D-Max or MUX. Beau Ban. He was late coming in. He might have been the very last one to come in.
Well, he's a class horse. We all know that. He is obviously not as well off at the weights here today, but look, he's usually better second.
Always been talented, but she's improved and emerged, and that's what the Fastnet Rock breed can do, can progress. So she looks top class from what we're looking at. So today will be the real test. Let's hope she can come through.
Best of luck.
Thanks, Caroline.
Thank you.
Over behind the... And we're just about set and ready to go. Strakandi's the inside runner. The Victorian filly Lamosti is ready. Charlie Boy is set. Both ready to run on the Stradbroke. There's the light. They stand. Gates open, off and racing in the Stradbroke, and Temple of Boom began well. Strakanti flew out from the inside. Sacred Star's going to take up a prominent position, and when they settle down, Strakanti, Temple of Boom, they're the leaders. Hot Schnitzel going up to join them. Sacred Star's pinged out in fourth, then El Rocker followed by Big Money. Charlie Boy settling back about seventh from Noida. Boban, he's up there running about eighth or ninth on the inside. Lamosti's got over one off the fence by the look of it. They're followed by Delectation. General Ife's drifting a long way back as they go round the corner. They're followed by Smoke and Joey, Blackheart, Barton, Fontalina's last of all. So it's Hot Schnitzel at the 700. 3 parts for Candy. Temple of Boom, third from El Rocker, Sacred Star. Big Money, Lumosti is on the move in a big hurry. Blackheart, Bart's out deep. Boban's back behind them from Noidart, Smoke and Joey. Charlie Boy shuffled back. Delectation on the fence. General Ife and Fontalina into the straight. 350 to go. Hot Schnitzel led for Candy. Temple of Boom, he's Sacred Star. Delectation's going to get the run on the fence. Lamosti and General Ife coming down the outside. Strakanti and Hot Schnitzel led. Delectation. Boban's trying to rattle home late. Strakanti the leader. Boban coming after Strakanti, but Strakanti's going strongly. She'll win the Stradbroke from Boban, General Ife. No, not sure about fourth. Hot Schnitzel, Temple of Boom, Sacred Star. Delectation, El Rocker, Noidart, Big Money, Smoke and Joey. Charlie Boy never fired a shot. Lamosti's a long way back from Fontalina and Blackheart Bard at the end.
Strakanti, well, she's done it. And she looked like she might do it last year, but she's come back and done it this year after a couple of reasonably indifferent runs. The last couple were perhaps a little below what we expected, but she struck back hard today, got into the right spot early, and there was a fair bit of interference in that race coming to the corner. There'll be a few hard luck stories there. Boban got through in time, but wasn't going to pick up Strakanti. And General Life had to come right around the field. He's run on very, very well there. Looks like he'll get third. But she was in the right spot today and in the right frame of mind. And on she goes to win there. Strakanti. And we'll have to head off to round.
You know, he's always kept faith in this filly, and my first ride on her, so obviously seen a fair bit of her and admired her from afar. So I'm very lucky to be here today. Obviously, the weights didn't go up and Brownie, and I reckon it actually suited her.
Strakanti, she'd won the Victory Stakes at the Gold Coast earlier this campaign, and of course, she ran third in the Stradbroke at Eagle Farm 12 months ago behind River Lad. Yesterday, she was spot on. And she's trained by Kieran Maher, who's joining us this morning. Kieran?
Yeah, I was feeling really, really good, actually. Her work on Tuesday morning was super, and then with Excellente, you know, that's her galloping partner on Tuesday morning, with that horse winning the race, just gave me extra confidence.
Kieran, you know, traffic jam, but he was disappointing unless there's something happened this morning that he hasn't pulled up well. And Lamosti, they put the brakes on going to the first corner, and then Lamosti and Blackheart Bart, they were just left out there when they got down the aerodrome side, and you can't win Stradbrakes from there. The speed was up the front. You had Strakanti inside Hot Schnitzel, and they were still there at the finish. Temple Boom was running third. He was there at the finish, run fourth, and the only horses to run home were Boban and General Ife coming down the outside. So it was an on-paced dominated race. I thought Boban was terrific under the weight to run second. General Ife's come from last and wide on the home turn. Blackheart, Bart, Lamosti, forget they went round. Just put a line through the race. Didn't happen.
Yeah, I agree. I think Karen won the race with intent early. He showed aggression. He bluffed them out of it. They got their rest, the leaders. It was an on-pace dominated race, and she was obviously back to her brilliant best. There's no real excuses for the others other than the way the race was run. I thought Boban was given a beautiful ride considering the way his pattern of racing by Glenn, and his effort was good considering the circumstances. And General Ife, well, he just got on the back of those horses that took off early. But all honours with the winner, she was far too good. Delectation got galloped on. I don't know if that's any excuse for him. He's just a hard horse to ride when the speed slows.
I agree with all of that. I think it's a little harsh on Charlie Boy. I don't think he's a horse likes to race in between other horses, and he did get into a bumping match and got shuffled and shuffled and shuffled. So, I don't think things worked out for him. I know he finished a long way back, but he's that sort of horse, I think. But as you say, it's just a ride with intent. She burst the gate. She was a length in front after 20 metres, gave Kieran the opportunity to give her the perfect run, and he did.
Here, and I think he's right in the mix.
Volk here, number 11.
Yeah, look, has to intensification particularly well, but the bigger the yard for mine, let's make a deal.
Okay, thanks, Caroline. Ron Duffersy, your top 4.
Yeah, tough race, 10, 4, 8, 3. I think Sense of Occasion can continue on his upward spiral here and get the Sydney side as another win at the end of the carnival here. 4, let's make it.
There for race number 4. Start of the quaddie, up in the next race 5 there at Belmont. Right, Stratty Day's about to wrap up at Doomben with the Group 2 Brisbane Cup over the 2,200 metres. A really open race. Let's make a deal now into 5.25 and heading up the fixed odds chart. Been easy on track though, 4 out to 5.50. Money for Index Linked.
Up in the air when the gates open, he came out towards the tail of the field. A Pingle from the inside, the first to go, headed by Moriarty, and Landlock began well. Sense of Occasion, Luciola, Voltaire, Surpass, Escardo coming down the outside. Let's Make a Deal getting to a little bit worse than midfield now, followed then by Index Link, Jet Set Lad, Major, and Villanova went to the tail of the field. Then they come to the line the first time, 2,000 to run, and Escardo on the outside about to run to the lead from Voltaire and Surpass. 2.5 to the grey Luciola. Link further back as Landlock now. Let's Make a Deal's on the move, going up on the outside. Sense of Occasion trying to squeeze off the fence, and Moriarty's trying to improve. All that clump of horses are trying to put themselves in the race now. Index Link's going to track up behind that bunch, then a Pingle, and back at the tail of the field, Villanova, Major. 500 to go, coming to the corner, and it's Escardo and Jet Set Lad from Surpass as they come around the home turn. Landlock, Let's Make a Deal deep. They're followed by Volkia, Sense of Occasions cutting through, and then comes a Pingle, and Index Link and Moriarty to the outside. To the 300, Jet Set Lad went to the lead from Escardo. Sense of Occasion coming at them, a Pingle. Let's Make a Deal joining in. Index Link is down the outside. Jet Set Lad, Sense of Occasion. A Pingle is driving through. A Pingle went straight through. Might have grabbed the lead. Jet Set Lad came again. Oh, it's close. Jet Set Lad or a Pingle in front of Sense of Occasion. The next home in the race then was Volkia. They're followed then by just behind those Surpass, and then came Index Link, Landlord, Luciola, Riscardo, Moriarty, Major, and Villanova has finished at the tail of the field.
Well, I think Jet Set Lad looks like he might have just bobbed his head here. There he is on screen, Jet Set Lad. Boy, here comes the white line. A Pingle's got a head in front, but Jet Set Lad... Oh, and the 10 there, Sense of Occasion, is right in it as well. I think a Pingle's run third. I think she might have run third, a Pingle, but, oh, that is a tighty. Really tight. Number 9's won it there. Jet Set Lad has got the verdict there. So Jet Set Lad wins it for Brian Smith. Paul Hammersley on board. There's a Pingle in the black colours and the fence running third. And on the outside, Sense of Occasion.
All right, I think Alan's here today, but it might just take me a little while to get to the mounting yard. We've got a Group 1 race coming up in Brisbane, so we might wrap things up. I'll confirm those numbers. 1, 4, 12, 11 here. 1, 4, 12, 11 on race number 7. We'll head up to Brisbane and we'll have more very soon at Royal Randwick.
This is the big one of the day, the Sky Racing Tats Tiara, the first Group 1 ever run here at the Gold Coast. What a field.
Wow, fantastic. You won't get any better field of fillies and mares than this one, and I can't wait for it, Gregors.
With the Stradbroke winner, Free Candy.
Yeah, awkward draw, but she's got gate speed to get right across here. Look, brilliant winner in the Stradbroke, ticks all the boxes, 2 for 2 here. Loves it.
30. This market's been up since Wednesday, and Free Candy's been favourite since Wednesday. Come race day, the punters have made Catkin favourite. So,
And here's Candy, the queen of this track, coming up into the gates to the outside. And they're all in the stalls and we're set ready to run. The first Group 1 race ever run on this course. Oh, one's gone off. It was Lamosti racing in the Tiara. Sracanti from the outside, bounded out of the gates, and Solicit began quickly. Lamosti was well away, and Hazard's going up to join the leaders when they settle fully into stride. And when they settle down, it's Hazard and Sracanti leading from Lamosti, which has gone up into third position, followed by Solicit, Avoid Lightning. Rose of Choice on the inside, followed by Real Surreal, Bound for Earth, and Dublin Lass out deep, going around the first corner from Rose of Choice. Then Peggy Jean, Catkins getting back in the ruck, followed by Perron, Estonian Princess, a long way back from Taylor Shan, and Politeness is last. They're by the 800 metres, and Sracanti the leader. Lou Mosley on its outside, Real Surreal 3 deep, Hazard fourth, Avoid Lightning on the inside. They're followed then by Bound for Earth, between runners, Rose of Choice, Dublin Last deep, followed by Solicit, Estonian Princess. A long way back on the field came Taylor Shan, Peggy Jean. Catkins will be second, last turning for home, and Politeness is last as they round the corner. 3:50 to go, and Sracanti the leader. Lamosti on the outside from Real Surreal, followed by Avoid Lightning, and further back on the field, Dublin Last, but Sracanti to the 200 metres mark is clear from Avoid Lightning. They're followed by Lamosti next, but Sracanti the leader with 100 metres left to go. Avoid Lightning's trying to get to Sracanti, but it's Sracanti in front. She's the queen of the coast. Sracanti beat Avoid Lightning. Lamosti third, I think, in front of Bound for Earth from Perron and Catkins and Hazard and Solicit. Peggy Jean, Taylor Shan, the next time in the race. Then back behind those, Rose of Choice, and they're followed by Estonian Princess. A long way back on the field, then to Real Surreal. And Politeness has pulled up very quickly, going over the line, and last time is Dublin Lass.
She's in elite company. She takes out a Stradbroke and then a Tatch Tiara. Dane Ripper did it, but I'm not sure Dane Ripper won the Tatch Tiara as a Group 1. It might have been a Group 3 back then. But Sracanti has taken out at the end of the year a big, big double.
Yes, just her advantage of having that gate speed, the way she can, she bounds in straight into the bit, she bluffs them out of the lead, she gets a rest, and she can sprint off the front exactly like she did in the Stradbroke. I love my speed horses drawn out wide. They can take their time getting into a position instead of being forced into a position, and that's...
When she come through the Stradbroke, just come through the race great, and her coat sort of even come on. Her weight was very similar, and we'd just give her a couple of easy gallops, and she got the track again today. She was really sharp from the barrier, which was sort of the key to the race. Yep. Kieran McAvoy just super right again, and Bianca's just done an outstanding job with this horse. She's, a lot of work goes into her, and it's a great result to finish off the carnival.
Yes, a Queensland Group 1 double to Sracanti. She won the Stradbroke Handicap, and now she's won the Sky Tiara. She's had a great winter. And Karen McAvoy was on your barrier 16 or wherever she started from. Was that it, what we just saw?
Yeah, pretty much so. From barrier 20, you've just had to use her speed, and she's lightning out of the gates, which she showed again yesterday, and she jumped the same in the Stradbroke. So takes all the hard luck out of the equation, and she was able to skip across in that first furlong, and Hazard sort of backed off, and then I was left in front, and I was really able to control where I wanted to be and stay off the fence a bit, and she relaxed beautiful, and then she's got an electric turn of foot as soon as you want her, she picks up straight away, and she showed that again yesterday.
Yeah, that's her greatest asset, isn't it? She is push button. You can make a couple of runs on her, and she comes back underneath you. That's where she conserves the energy.
Exactly, yeah, you're spot on. She does it nicely underneath you, and morning 10,000 run, he's got her back firing on all cylinders.
Kieran's said before that he thinks she needs a bit of soft ground underneath. Does she feel like she needs it? Is it something in her action, or?
It is actually, yeah. She's got a lot of her. She's quite similar to Debawi himself. I rode him when I was overseas, and he liked a bit of cut in the ground. And she's got a bit of a square action, but she loves that ground.
What do you mean by that? A square action?
She probably just hits the ground a little bit hard. Doesn't have a big action. An action very similar to Debawi himself. Yeah. So that sort of ground is right up her alley. And
she's not one of those big flat daisy cutting type actions. She drives them in a bit.
Short coupled and hits the ground a little bit hard. So often with horses like that, they enjoy a little bit of cut out of the ground, and that's what she's really enjoying at the moment.
She seems to be a race. What about Avoid Lightning, that terrific mare from Sydney? Gee, she ran a good race, didn't she? She really came hard that last little bit.
She did. I was a little bit worried the last 100. I could hear Timmy firing up my inside, but she's been in fantastic form, and a credit to Les Bridge.
Her run was an outstanding, Avoid Lightning. Timmy just seemed that he lost his whip there at the 200-metre mark. I don't think it made any difference because she's a mare that gives her all anyway. And she was risky at 1400. I thought she was gallant in defeat, but the winner's just so explosive, isn't she?
Indeed. Let's have a look at a few of these other horses coming out of the race yesterday. What about Atkins? That was an odd one, wasn't it?
Yeah, look, I think the damage was done early when I think Yui just handed up a little bit quickly to the solicitor, who I think he was thinking may have brought him more forward in the run. And just having a little chat to you after the last yesterday, I think he was pretty cranky with himself, to tell you the truth.
To be honest, I don't think she's the mare she was.
Oh, that's
a given, I think.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I just
think a rough call for a mare like her.
No, I think she's peaked and
a bit of a forgive yesterday.
Yeah, but I think just even on her recent performances, you know, she hasn't beat her last start and hasn't ran a nice race here, but they finished basically together again. I think she's peaked off the top, but look, it's probably academic. She probably ends up at the stallion barn in springtime anyway. But you know, I just think she's been a fantastic mare. But I think the time has come where she can make more in the serving barn and in the paddock.
Obviously, there was a big news flash out of this race before the start with Diadem being scratched. Now, this was on suspicion of
to the times. They run about, sub 134, the group horses, group ones at Shah 10. They run about 137, 130. I'd expect him to be forcing the issue and should make it a test. Of course, they're going to try and bring Able Friend undone. A good gallop is one of the ways they might try and do it. Cougar Mountain at a big price, as is Esoteric. Here comes When.
For Solo. Able Friend 11-4, but gaining a bit more strength.
Bartlett's. Now, the final one, the favourite, takes his place in store number 4. Lined up, they're ready. They're off. They race away a mile then the trip. As they leave the starting gates, here comes Wen, is dropped in at the rear of the field as the light blue jacket of Tourmore and Richard Hughes go to lead early on. Solo the grey, Maxime Guillon running in second place, and then off to the left with the blue headgear as Gloria waits the mount of Sylvester de Souza. The blue jacket of Knight of Thunder is 2 lengths behind them. He holds 4th position from the dark blue of the yellow cap of Esoteric. She races in 5th place with Pierre-Charles Boudot. Then Joe Moreira on Able Friend, the black and gold colours ahead of Cougar Mountain. Right on by a length and a half. Solo goes well in 2nd place. The near side of Gloria waits. Knight of Thunder behind those. Then Esoteric continues to hold 5th position. Able Friend in 6th. Then Cougar Mountain. And here comes Wen. Heading down now with the 2 furlong marker already in sight. Tourmore continues to lead, tracked by Solo. Knight of Thunder there coming towards the right with a challenge. Gloria waits behind those. Able Friend and Esoteric the next pair. Into the closing stages. Solo under pressure as Knights of Thunder now in the blue jacket of Godolphin has come to join him. Esoteric, the yellow cap, the far side. Able Friend is 5 lengths behind those. Solo has taken it up. Esoteric is chasing him home. Cougar Mountain is closing as they race towards the line. Solo and Maxime Guillon are in command and have won. Esoteric, she was 2nd. Cougar Mountain stayed on to be 3rd, and the pace-setting Tourmore in 4th. Solo has added to his Group 1 run with success here, his best yet in the Queen Anne Stakes. 11-8 favoured he has returned. Maxime Guillon on board for Freddie Head, and he has cemented his reputation as one of the Esoteric has run really.
Rating for the King Stand. 2 that we want to look at here. Soul Power, who I think is coming round this far corner. We'll just see him here. He's right in front of us. He's not the biggest, but he's just like easy-going horse. He looked a lot stronger than last year. Funnily enough, we saw him last year. I saw him on a couple of occasions.
They're off. They leave the gate. Shamal Wind, one of the last to get away. G-Force towards the back of the field as well. Take Cover and Stepper Point, Lancelot Dulac, and also Hot Streak show good pace from Gold Dream and Muthmere, Medician Man, Justice Day. They're followed by Rangalian Robot Boy, and then comes G-Force, and Shamal Wind is towards the left in the red and white jacket. She's right in behind Soul Power at this stage. Jack Dexter towards the back of the field. Steps is struggling on the right. The red jacket of Take Cover leads to the noseband of Hot Streaker. White Cap in second place. Lancelot, Dulac and Muthmere in the blue and white colours are there. Soul Power beginning his run forward. Medician Man and Gold Dreamer still ahead of him. Rangali towards the right. They've only got a furlong to go. Medician Man has the lead to Muthmere. Between them, Gold Dream. Soul Power finishing off well. The far side, the white and red. But as they race up towards the line, nearest to us, Pearl Secret flying. It's Medician Man and Gold Dream who hit the line together. Muthmere behind him in third, there followed by Pearl Secret, and Soul Power's only fifth.
Photo finish.
Photo finish has been called. A photo has been called here at Royal Ascot between Gold Dream, an improved performer this season, and Medician Man, a standing dish in this race. That evidence suggests that Gold Dream has won it, with Muthmere back in third and Pearl Secret in fourth, Soul Power only fifth. But officially, it's a photo between...
Stand Stakes. This is a race that the Aussies have dominated over the years. We had Shamal Wind up there this year for the Robert Smurden stable. Look, pretty ordinary, I suppose. At face value, she finished officially 13th. She didn't really get into the race at any stage.
She was probably very ordinary, never in the race. She didn't look comfortable. Look, she's been a terrific little mare and probably goes to stud now.
I think that lines up what you've got to be. You've got to be a weight for age sprinter here and a pretty dominant one, you know, racing at the top level all the time to get in the mix there. Now, their sprinters are no doubt better than they were. I think they've improved quite a lot, their sprinting horses in England. And now you've got to be a very good weight for age sprinter. You can't just be a handicap sprinter.
No. Okay.
That race was won by Gold Dream, the King Stand Stakes. That's right. That's how it played out. Let's have a look at a few other highlights from Royal Ascot. The Hardwick Stakes was also run last night. They're talking maybe Melbourne Cups for this horse.
Can Snow showing in front. Telescope, one base. Hellstone need the next. The first. Snow Sky with good ladies. 5 lengths ahead and surely he won't be caught. Snow Sky and goes towards the line to win it again for Sir Michael Stout. Very tight for second place.
The Snow Sky, ridden by Patrick Smullen, taking him to the front there in that 2,400-metre race. And look, he was pretty strong at the finish. They couldn't reel him in. Trained by Sir Michael Stout. And look, it's on the radar, the Melbourne Cup for that horse, Snow Sky.
It's an ideal type, you know, 2,400, turn of speed, everything I want to see in a, I don't know the form backwards over there, but everything I want to see in a Melbourne Cup horse, a 2,400 metre, you know, European horse, looks good to me.
Well,
I like to see, man.
Well, I think Sir Michael knows the form over there pretty well, and he thinks he thought he was a Melbourne Cup horse, but now he's thinking might be better than that. So they keep him for the King George. That's which I don't think they were planning. In fact, I know they weren't planning that. He said, but maybe we have to think about that now. Well, that'll kind of make a Melbourne Cup campaign pretty tough, win, lose or draw.
Yeah.
All right, so it hasn't been a great week for the Aussies over there. Let's just go back and review some of the Aussie performances. Criterion raced on Wednesday night in the Queen Anne Stakes there. Chad Schofield was there to ride him, of course, for David Hayes and Tom Davenig. He finished in behind the place getters. The winner of this race was Free Eagles, trained by Dermot Wells. Look, it was a fair performance.
Oh, I thought it was great. We can go over there with our sprinters. We can't take their middle distance horses on and beat them. But I thought this showed that he's a world-class middle distance horse, Criterion, and I don't think too many people, form students, expected too much more than that.
You could take Criterion to Hong Kong, to Dubai, and expect him to run well, and I bet he would. You know, you take him to Royal Ascot, take them on, who train and breed the best middle distance and staying horses in the world, and that's a tough.
He ran well.
There was some conflicting reports suggesting maybe he's going to stay on for a Sussex Stakes over a mile. Then the horse is going to be spelled, and I think that's the better option, or the more likely option from David Hayes, suggesting he'll go to the paddock and be brought back for Cox Plate build in the spring.
Having said that about them breeding and training the best middle distance and stays, the Japanese are pretty good too.
Not bad.
We're hearing from there the voice of the Kentucky Derby, but Brazen Beau still clear at the top of their market here, and we saw the connections there as the horses around the yard. And looking resplendent in their golds. And we can get back to Ollie now. He's going to speak out to another man who's dressed that way.
He certainly does. He'd be the best on his runs. He'd be the best sprinter we have in Australia. So really delighted to have him representing Australia at this prestigious meeting.
He's done well over 1,200 metres in Australia. You're confident that the Ascot stiff finish will suit him?
Well, he is. Watch out, mate. You tripped over.
Thanks, Dave.
He's got an unbelievable acceleration. He's got a great attitude to relax, so that should really put him in good stead for a really testing 6 furlong race.
Best of luck, Dave.
His trainer's just watching him there, and he'll just hack merrily down with his head probably over the rail, and on his way he goes. Diamond Jubilee Stakes, runners to posts, a fascinating race, a thrilling race, with the added bonus of the 2 Australian challenges.
He's a fast-moving horse, a quick action. I think the fact we've not had any further rain at Ascot this afternoon will be in Brazen Beau's favour. Stiffer track, bit of a question mark, and I think today's race will be run at a different tempo as well. So it's going to test Brazen Beau differently to what he's been tested in Australia. Ratings-wise, he's right up there with the likes of Choisir, Takeover Target, Miss Andretti, those other Australian horses that have come to Ascot and won in the past.
Yeah, talking of Takeover Target.
Those other Australian horses that have come.
And they're off for the Diamond Jubilee Stakes. Brazen Beau got away well towards the stand side. Towards the centre, Ansgar in a pink jacket, however, is the overall leader to a stare in a sheepskin noseband. Due Diligence is close up in the blue and orange, and then Brazen Beau from Wangina. And Brazen Beau is running a solo towards the stand side running rail, and 3 distinct groups with Pearl Secret pulling hard in rear in the centre cluster behind Music Master and Wangina and Tropics and the Grey Glass Office. Ansgar is still leading the larger cluster. Mustard Jeep in the blue and white tracks in with a stare and Moving Star. Lucky Crystal, Gordon Lord Byron. Brazen Beau still running that solo. Casper Netron undrafted in touch, and the 2 groups now converge, and still Brazen Beau runs alone as they head down towards the last quarter of a mile. Stare being joined by Mustard Jeep. They've headed Ansgar, Brazen Beau, Music Master, the green sleeves, then Wangina down towards the final furlong of the Diamond Jubilee, and it's Brazen Beau for Australia on the near side. He's undrafted on the far side from a stare and Music Master. Drafted. Some go towards the near side, try to pick him back. Drafted. He's the Diamond Jubilee on the Frankie. Brazen Beau is second. A stare is third. Close fourth, Mr. G, Music Master, and Wangina.
Wesley Ward in the winner's enclosure again. Undrafted has won the Diamond Jubilee Stakes in the hands of Frankie Dettori. 14-1, the American runner has returned, and he has seen off Brazen Beau, who raced for much of the race, isolated towards the near side for Chris Waller and Craig Williams. He has finished second. It's close for third, but I think Astaire's grabbed it for Jamie Spencer and Kevin Ryan, followed home by
Drafted on the far side from Astera and Music Master. Undrafted. Brazen Beau towards the near side, trying to peg him. Undrafted wins the Diamond Jubilee on the Frankie. Brazen Beau is second, Astera is third.
He's a very good track walker. He believed where he was the best part of the track. Unfortunately, no one came across with us and didn't give us cover. So we're fully aware of that. Although it's hard for the punters, you might want to say, well, if we got cover, we might have won the race. Easy to say those things. And I honestly, in the bottom of my heart, if we'd run the race, yeah, we'll be exactly the same.
Okay, that was Chris Waller on Sky Sports Radio this morning, saying that no excuses for Brazen Beau there. Daring tactics by Craig Williams. He's, as we know, if you've watched racing coverage at all, you'll see Craig Williams out there with the stick, having a look at the track before pretty much every race meeting. I think it's every race meeting he goes out and checks out the turf. So that's where he thought the better going was. He went out there with Brazen Beau on his own. And look, he was just denied in the end.
Very brave to go one out. On a fancied horse, I can understand. Maybe try it on a 10-1 chance. I might get an edge here coming out wide. Look, he ran a brilliant race. He ran a really good race. He's probably going to go to the July Cup now, and obviously he's going to perform well there again. Tactically, I don't know. I can see he's opened himself up for criticism. Whether I want to get involved with the criticism, I'm not sure. But it's a very brave move going out there on your own. You don't see it at Flemington.
No.
You don't see it. Why doesn't he do it? It's a whole... When you're in Rome, I want to do what the Romans are doing.
Well, I respect what Chris says. However, all the I watched the coverage last night, and all the experts said, no, not the thing to do to go out on your own. Very hard to do that. And if you watch Frankie, see the inside pack. Yeah. He's at the back of that, getting cover at the back of that, and he appears only, the last couple of 100 metres. You can see him in those black colours there. See, just crossing to the inside of the course now. He hasn't even got out from behind horses yet. And, Brazen Beau out there facing the breeze on his own. We're sort of two-tracking a little bit. He's got his head turned towards the grandstand, and I just don't know that it all worked out the way they exactly thought it would. And I agree with you. He ran a fantastic race. He got his colours lowered on the day, but I don't think he lost any admirers.
It's a fine line between genius and being a mug, because, well, not even a mug, but getting it wrong, because without that horse in the race, he's lauded as a genius, and what a move it is. So it's a very interesting debate. Obviously, a lot of punters who back Brazen Beau are probably thinking, why, looking for an excuse, but I couldn't be too critical of Craig Williams for doing that.
What about the other Aussie, Wandjina? What did you make of Wandjina's run?
Yeah, kind of okay.
I think that's probably to be expected, and he's likely to be retired now, unlikely to press on, whereas Brazen Beau, being owned, or part owned by Darley, they sponsor the Darley July at Newmarket on the 11th of July, so expect to see him going.
If you ask the question, what's the difference between Brazen Beau and Wandjina, you'd probably say, I don't know, 3 or 4 lengths. Yeah. And that's what there was.
Over that distance.
Yeah. That's what 100 or a mile maybe is.
Different story, 7 or a mile.
Oh, exactly. But, 1,200 metres, 3 or 4 lengths.
Yep.
Okay, that's right.
Played out. Let's have a look at a few other. For the Darley July Cup. Brazen Beau flying the flag for Australia. 270 fixed. He's much shorter on the pari-mutuals at this stage. Jockeys are ready to go. Let's hear from his trainer, Chris Waller.
Get a little bit of cover. And it gives you a few options, but it also creates a bit of traffic as well. I think he drew 15 at Ascot. So we almost won that day. And the winner did have a nice run. So it comes down to luck and racing. And if we're good enough, he'll be right there in the finish.
And Royal Ascot didn't pan out exactly the way you.
If we can get the job done on Saturday, he'll retire as a stallion, as a very good horse in both hemispheres.
And what about you yourself? What would it mean to you? Obviously, you've had that good run at Royal Ascot. What would it mean to
his stud career after this? And James Doyle on aboard him, feeling very confident. And
when he was in Australia, the couple of videos that I watched, he tended to stalk and pounce. He didn't necessarily make the run in. So interested to see whether they bowl along with him or if they just take a lead.
There he is.
The break, Danzino was immediately taken back, and so too Soul Power, as is his wont. It's Eastern Impact now down the centre of the course, together with Tropics and Brazen Beau. Astaire flashing his usual early speed towards the near side, now giving a lead to Muhara and also Lancelot Dulac. They've got a half mile to go in the Darley July Cup, and it is Tropics on the far side with Brazen Beau together with Eastern Impact, followed then by Due Diligence and G-Force and Soul Power. Meanwhile, towards the near side, it's Astaire who leads. Muhara, who's just been shaken along, then Anthem Alexander, and then Steps, who's been ridden. So too is Jack Dexter towards the near side, Lancelot Dulac, Danzino towards the rear of the field, together with Muthamir as they race down into the dip. They've got less than a quarter mile to go. Tropics in the centre just about has the lead now over Eastern Impact and Brazen Beau. Then towards the near side, Anthem Alexander, the filly staying on, and here now comes Muhara, but it is Tropics who got first run, and Tropics still has the lead over Muhara, racing in second. Tropics trying to hold the 3-year-old, racing up towards the line, very tight. Tropics far side, Muhara on the near side. There could be a flared nostril in it. Soul Power was never nearer, but he may have just got third. Also staying on Danzino and Eastern Impact, but it goes to the judge in the Darley July Cup. It is too close to call between Tropics and Muhara.
Photo finish. Photo finish.
Real tight one in the finish for the Darley July Cup here at Newmarket. Muhara flashing home to maybe catch Tropics. We'll still them on the line. That is tight. Possibly just Muhara. Tropics made all the running. Has Muhara got there? We'll wait on the judge. Very tight indeed. Soul Power flashing home far side too. That's them on the line. Possibly just Muhara. No.
It's not worth calling it.
All right, not worth calling it. It is a Group 1. Let's wait on the judge. Here we go.
First to number 14.
Muhara's got that. Beats Tropics. He took an age to pick up, but the 2-1 showing favourite did get going out of the dip. Some on the line, possibly just Muhara. We'll wait and see. Took an age to get going, an age to pick up. I think on that, I think he might have got there. What do you think, Chris? Come on. No,
No idea.
No.
It's not worth calling it.
All right, not worth calling it. It is a Group 1. Let's wait on the judge. Here we go.
First, to number 14.
He's got Muhara's got a Beats Tropics. He took an age to pick up, but the 2-1 showing favourite did get going out of the dip.
He brings